Hello, Las Vegas. Welcome to the Countdown to WrestleMania, presented by Cricket. We are outside Allegiant Stadium today in front of hundreds of WWE fans who are ready to make some noise for WrestleMania. In our esteemed panel here today, on the end, Big E.
Michael, if you don't mind, I want to do a little something. Oh, Vegas! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for WrestleMania and feel the power!
Ladies and gentlemen, Big E, former world champion, former Mr. Money in the Bank, and guess what, guys? 0-7 at WrestleMania.
Jeez, how dare you?
Sitting next to Big E, the former 5-time Intercontinental Champion, voice of premium live events, voice of Friday Night SmackDown, and an 0-3 record.
No, whoa. The League of Nations in 2016 did actually beat the Boo Day.
He
So
wasn't
I
in the match.
cannot give
He
you
wasn't
the
in the match.
count.
You were on the floor. It doesn't count.
I was instrumental, Boo. Pop, you were one of them. But what a pleasure it is to be at WrestleMania. There is nothing quite like this weekend. I am amped up. Not quite as much as Big E, apparently, but I cannot wait to kick this thing off.
But ladies and gentlemen, there are two people at the table that are undefeated at WrestleMania. None other than the man for the Pat McAfee show at ESPN. He is 2-0, Pat McAfee.
Hey, it is an honor to be here at WrestleMania. That feels good, doesn't it? Ooh, that sounds good on this glorious WrestleMania Saturday. And obviously at WrestleMania, I've had some successes. I've had some great times. But as a child, I watched this weekend, watched this show with absolute fascination of the greatest entertainment form on earth. And then one of those times, this man, WWE GOAT, Michael Cole, also undefeated at WrestleMania.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, so guess what? It was voted the worst WrestleMania match in history, but who gives a damn? I had a match at WrestleMania.
You won over, brother.
Best payday of Michael Cole's career.
Also, Michael Cole undefeated at WrestleManias. This is also his 28th WrestleMania calling. And that's a record, and Michael Cole, we all appreciate the hell out of you.
Well, hopefully there's many more, because this is going to be quite the night here tonight on WrestleMania Saturday.
They're talking about you, Cole.
Thank you. Let's get to the main event tonight, WrestleMania Saturday, triple threat match. Three of the biggest stars in the game. CM Punk will have Paul Heyman in his corner, Seth freaking Rollins, and of course, the original Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. They do battle tonight. The World Tag Team Championships on the line. The War Raiders versus the New Day. I'm sure Big E is going to have plenty to say about this as the countdown show rolls along. This one is as personal as it gets. Naomi, who attacked Jade Cargill a number of months ago, goes one-on-one. A storm is coming to WrestleMania tonight. Is it finally Jacob Fatu's time? The Samoan Werewolf looks to take the United States Championship away from L.A. Knight.
Yeah!
This match could be in flux. Rey Mysterio suffered an injury last night on Friday Night SmackDown. It's going to be a game-time decision. He is set to face El Grande Americano in Americano's WrestleMania debut tonight at WrestleMania Saturday. One of the most personal matches in WrestleMania history. It's Tiffany time as Tiffany Stratton defends against Charlotte Flair, seeking her 15th World Championship. And will it be time to yeet tonight in Las Vegas? Main event, Jey Uso will take on the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther in a match that will kick off WrestleMania Saturday, 7 o'clock on the East Coast, 4 o'clock here on the West Coast in Las Vegas. You know, all of us have had the distinct honor and privilege of participating in WrestleMania for many, many years. Big E, this never gets old.
Never, man. It is an honor to be here, even though I'm not in the ring right now. Just being here, the excitement, being with fans. I'm telling you, we just had a live stream with Fanatics Live, and Stone Cold Steve Austin surprises us. You have legends after legends after legends, and this is truly where legends are made.
Wade, again, you've participated in WrestleMania. This, however, will be the first WrestleMania that you will be calling as a commentator. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Deserved.
It's been a long time, but I'm finally feeling like I'm going to get a major WrestleMania moment, and what an honor it is to be calling the matches over the next couple of days. First time in my career I've had that chant. I'm sure it won't last long. But this really is the pinnacle of our industry. So to get to be witness at ringside to the absolute best we have ever seen here doing what they do, a true honor.
And Pat and I are looking forward to working with you. Pat, we've done this for the last couple of years, and there is nothing like just sitting there and watching the greatest in the world do what they do.
Yeah, they say big fight feel, big everything. They talk about the Super Bowl in football. This is WrestleMania, where the greatest become the greatest of all time. This is where people are immortalized. You know, you talk about seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin show up at the Fanatics Live. Last night we had the opportunity to be at the Hall of Fame. The greats were in abundance, and everybody that wants to be something big in this industry has to perform at WrestleMania in a big way, and we got stars in abundance on night one here in Las Vegas.
You know, and Pat and I had the honor last night. It truly was an honor, one of the biggest of my career, to be able to host the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And we'll talk a lot more about that throughout this show and also WrestleMania tonight. But this is the biggest match in the career of a man known as Main Event Jey Uso. He is suddenly confident as the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. Can he win his first world title here tonight? So much to dissect about this match. First, I want to start things off with Big E. Jey Uso is kicking off WrestleMania in the biggest match of his career to set the tone for the entire weekend, as if he didn't have enough pressure on himself already.
Look, we've seen Gunther have classics at WrestleMania already in his fairly young career on the main roster. We've seen Jey Uso have classics in the tag team division. This is an opportunity now for Jey to step up with the very best in the ring in Gunther and see if he is indeed worthy of being main event Jey Uso and being a world champion, walking out here as world champion.
Being a former world champion, you never know when you may get another opportunity.
This could be it. Look, he's already 0-3 against Gunther. The window might close. If he doesn't win tonight, he might be back to the mid-card. This could be it.
So, Wade, you never had an opportunity to hold a world title here in WWE, but you had opportunities at it. What is going through Jey Uso's mind if he can't get the job done tonight?
Well, look at my own career. 2010, I had several opportunities to win a world championship. I failed. I thought in my head, don't worry, you've got a long career ahead of you. There's going to be plenty more opportunities to do that. Guess what? There were no more opportunities. This could be it for Jey Uso. If he doesn't get the job done here, maybe management will sour on him. Maybe he's not the main event star we thought he could be.
On that note, my rookie year, I rode the coattails of an incredibly strong team to the Super Bowl. We were undefeated until we chose to lose that season. I was young. I was a young buck. In the locker room afterwards, everybody was miserable whenever we lost to Drew Brees and his baby. We all remember it. And I said, boys, we'll be back. The reality is, you might never get a chance to see that type of stage again. You might never get a chance to have the opportunity to be a world champion again. Jey Uso has to understand that going into this match. I believe he does. And Gunther, he might be a little bit different over the last couple of weeks that we have kind of noticed.
So Pat and I have been able to cover this story since the Royal Rumble win by Jey Uso. And for the most part, for the couple of months leading up to this, Gunther has been in complete control of Jey Uso until the beatdown of Jey's brother Jimmy. The following week when Jey came out to the ring, I believe, and I think you agree, Pat, that for the first time we saw Gunther lose control. It started to slip away. You even asked the question, is he scared?
Yeah, I asked him yesterday if he looks a little bit worried about this Jey Uso that he was certainly not very respectful of a few weeks back. Now Jey Uso has come out multiple times and said, hey, Gunther, I'm not scared of you, Us. I might have been at one point. You might have been the big bad wolf at some point in my eyes, the unbeatable guy. And then what he did to Jimmy is kind of made Jey back against the wall say, for lack of better words, F it, I'm going. And Jey Uso's looked vastly different the last few weeks. Gunther has obviously seemed a little bit more testy,
So we got a couple of seconds here. I'm going to put you all on the spot. Big E, does Uso have a chance tonight?
Jey Uso walks out as World Heavyweight Champion.
Wade?
No chance. The spirit of Jey Uso is now unbreakable. That's irrelevant. The body of Jey Uso is breakable, and Gunther will break it tonight.
Pat?
Do I think Jey Uso has a chance tonight?
And one thing I'm going to do is apologize in advance, because I guarantee you I will be a very biased commentator tonight in this match.
Hey, man, that makes two of us, brother. Good luck out there, Wade. Be a professional.
I hope that Jey Uso can pull it off. Well, plenty more to come on that story, but we're also going to shift gears now to talk about the United States Championship. LA Knight and Jacob Fatu battle for the title. Sam Roberts and the voice of Friday Night SmackDown, Joe Tessitore, standing by.
Michael, we are back here near the Raiders locker room where they have their wall of fame to inspire the current players. A lot of history on this wall, but Sam, there is some history that could be made this afternoon when it comes to the United States Championship match, a match that we've been talking about all day. We got here really early. One of the first people we saw was Jacob Fatu. I had a little breakfast with him. He was completely locked in, wanted to see the size and scope of the stadium, wanted to see the ring. But that's the way he's been since early January. This is a different guy. It's not the fawning acolyte right-hand man that we saw before. This is a vicious, purpose-minded guy.
Yeah, first of all, Tess, you were the only one that was brave enough to approach Jacob
I wanted my
Fatu.
eggs,
I mean,
Sam.
especially at mealtime. But listen, what we're on the precipice of is something I think that was unimaginable even a year ago. Okay, we're at the biggest stage that the WWE has to offer. Tens of thousands of people, millions more watching at home. And Jacob Fatu is on the precipice of being one of the faces of this company, being a champion. And why? Because like you said, he's not waiting for instruction from anyone anymore. He is completely unleashed. But to your point, there may be some strategy there. There may be more focus than he's let on, and that to me is the scariest part of all.
Let's talk about the other side of this matchup, and that is the champion, LA Knight. When we were on SmackDown last evening, I thought Wade Barrett made a great piece of analysis in saying hey, should there be concern with what LA Knight has taken on? Last night he arrives, he attacks Tama Tonga, he gets into a match with Solo Sikoa, he's been attacked by Jacob Fatu in recent weeks, and it just felt like a lot has been taken out of him. Do you have concern for LA Knight as he comes and arrives at this?
I mean, I think I kind of understand LA Knight's strategy, that everybody is afraid of Jacob Fatu. And what LA Knight wants to do on the way to WrestleMania is beat up as many people as possible, letting everybody know that he is not intimidated by this Jacob Fatu. Now, look, you're right. The cost is damage done.
Right.
LA Knight needs to prove tonight that he's not this guy that's just there for the big moments, that he can hold on to a title, that he can look at the toughest opponents that the WWE has literally ever had and still come out victorious. That's the test for LA Knight.
This is the first WrestleMania title match for LA Knight. And for Jacob Fatu, his WrestleMania debut. It's hard to believe it has not even been a full year on the roster and the impact that Jacob Fatu has already made. Let's get it to Jackie Redmond.
Tessitore, thank you so much. Obviously, you can see the fans are very excited here at the Countdown to WrestleMania set. You know, we all love sports. That's why we're involved in sports entertainment. Me personally, I love a good stat. I love a good record. So I got a few nuggets you need to know heading into night one of WrestleMania. You heard the panel talking about Jey Uso. Let me tell you something. The odds are stacked against main event Jey Uso going into this match, whether you like it or not. Listen to these stats. I know we love him, but the ring general is 51-3 in one-on-one matches in his WWE career. That's it. 3 losses total. That is a winning percentage of 94%. Only 2 dudes have ever pinned the man. So if you were surprised to see Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble, if he wins tonight against Gunther, That's going to shock the entire world. The fans here want to see it elsewhere. Charlotte Flair in action tonight. This will mark her 8th championship match at WrestleMania. That ties her for the 2nd most title matches at WrestleMania in WWE history. By the way, that includes for both men and women. So whether you like it or not, Charlotte Flair, whether she wins or loses tonight, her legacy continues to grow. And last but certainly not least, Tess, I heard you talking about Jacob Fatu. There is only one word to describe. They love Tiffy here. We're on to Jacob Fatu, though. There's only one word to describe his start in WWE. It is dominant. He has never been pinned in one-on-one action since he joined the main roster in WWE. Be curious to see how his debut at WrestleMania goes here tonight. Cole, I know you love sports and stats and records, too, so I know you're excited. The Stanley Cup playoffs are starting tonight. Back to you. You love hockey.
I know the NBA playoffs are underway.
The NHL playoffs are magnificent to watch. They are not the WrestleMania Saturday or WrestleMania Sunday, though. 51-3 was the stat I just heard.
And it's interesting talking about that stat. Only 2 men have pinned him in the last year. One was Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel to win the Crown Jewel Championship. The other time he was pinned was last year at WrestleMania, where Sami Zayn pulled off the upset to end the 666-day streak as Intercontinental Champion. Will that happen tonight?
I think it will. I think it will. I think the world of Gunther. I think he is at the very top echelon of this industry, but I think it's Jay's time. And look, the window, it's now or never for Jay, and I think he understands that. I think he knows that, and that's why I think he's going to be the world champion tonight.
Well, with more on this, let's head to the back for Byron Saxton and Kathy Kelly standing by.
Well, Michael Cole, I know you guys are already debating this, but we were having our own debate over the World Heavyweight Championship match, Gunther versus Jey Uso. Now, we've been used to seeing this jovial Jey the last several years, and now we're seeing the switch up of this quiet confidence. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of his brother Jimmy, and Gunther attacking him, making Jey watch this whole thing go down. Now, I know that Jimmy will be watching and supporting Jey through this entire match, but you gotta wonder just where Jay's head is at right now.
So let me preface this by saying I love Jey Uso. I've known Jey Uso since day one-ish, literally. Like 15, 16 years ago, first walking into Florida Championship Wrestling, the developmental territory for WWE. I love where his career has gone. And I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
I think there's a quiet confidence right now with Jey. However, think about what Jey is walking into. This is uncharted territory. Number one, this is the first time Jey Uso, in a sense, is fighting for his family. First time Jey Uso is going to step out onto this WrestleMania stage and compete for a World Heavyweight title to kick off the show. Think of the pressure, think of the nerves. When all the yeeting stops, and believe me, they're going to be going nuts. When all that stops, reality sets in.
Yeah.
Can Jey handle that reality? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many fans at WWE World with Yeet shirts, Yeet sunglasses. We know he has a lot of support, but I think Jackie mentioned earlier, Gunther has a 94% success rate in singles competition. So how do you compete against that?
Well, and I'll say this as well. There's been some talk about Gunther maybe becoming a little unraveled because of the savagery that we saw. But think about it this way. There's a pretty famous psychologist, Sigmund Freud, also Austrian,
yes.
from Gunther's home country. And I think Gunther right now has been playing that psychological game with Jey Uso, right? You know, get a little unraveled, talk about your family, get you mentally turbulent state going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go out there and Gunther is doing what Gunther does. Over 80% of his career, he's had a championship around his waist. He knows Jey Uso is in uncharted waters right now. And when that bell rings, you've got a 6'4", 250-pound world heavyweight champion that I believe has his prey, AKA Jey Uso, right where he wants him, Kathy.
Yes, he does. He's intimidating enough to interview. I can't imagine what standing across the ring from him would be like.
So we're going to continue our debate.
Yes.
I believe I'm correct, but we'll continue. We'll have fun with it.
Whoa.
And we're going to send things back to our friends at the panel.
And I would pay to debate Byron right now.
I would pay to see you in Byron's outfit. That's what I would say.
Byron needs that psychiatrist too. Hey folks, you know, WWE social media recently came out with a poll for the top matches in WrestleMania history. We're about to show you the one that was voted #1. Here we go. Triple H versus The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels, the special referee. End of an era inside Hell in a Cell.
It was like the last two toughest guys in the prison yard from a bygone generation. When these two hooked up, everybody in the yard's watching it.
They were just absolutely blistering one another with the chairs and the steps.
To me, that story had everything. Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania. Here's the guy Undertaker who he couldn't beat at WrestleMania. Here's his best friend Triple H. Now he's the ref. He has to stay impartial.
Look at this! Play cheer music and a pedigree! They've done it! They haven't done it! It's not over!
Storytelling at its finest. To see it all happen, it was just amazing.
That match, that rivalry, is years of experience doing what they do best.
I knew that we had just finished something that was going to be so special that would last through the annals of time.
The era has ended, and what a way to go.
Standing up there with those two guys who I had the utmost respect for, it's probably one of the most special moments of my career.
At WrestleMania, from the entertainment capital of the world, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk.
Every which way you look, they are brawling.
Three epic rivals, one massive triple threat match. WrestleMania from Las Vegas.
It is the main event tonight of WrestleMania Saturday inside Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk. This is a rivalry that has been developed over decades.
Years ago, we came down those stairs to remake this company in our image.
We died a long time ago.
You messed up, and your biggest mistake is not understanding the danger that's right in front of us. For two people, it's clearly personal. For me, it's just business. It's become simple math. The two men who want to stand in my way gotta go.
It's in there. You are a WrestleMania main eventer.
Thank you, but that's not the favor that I'm owed.
What favor? I owe you a favor.
No. Our wise man will owe me a favor.
At WrestleMania, in my corner, your wise man.
Tell him no. No, my tribal chief, I can't do that.
I brought you into this business. I cannot wait to be the man that takes you both out of it.
There can be only one, and it's gotta be me.
Wise man, how could you betray me?
Well, we said we have reporters everywhere, all over here in Las Vegas. Yesterday, Jackie Redmond and Peter Rosenberg headed over to WWE World to check out the Xfinity Bar with more on tonight's main event.
Cole, thank you so much. Peter Rosenberg and I are in the middle of creating our very own booming signature flex here. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I work out. Here in Xfinity's The Extra Bar, where there's so much going on.
Oh, are you kidding me? The Wi-Fi is booming. We're in the middle of WWE World. If you're looking for a place this weekend to come, chill out a little bit, take in all the festivities of the world, but then pop by here, relax a bit, do your own signature flex. So many different things to do here. And most importantly, to get together with your fellow WWE fans and talk about the issues at hand.
Yeah, it is a massive, massive weekend, WrestleMania 41. So let's dive right into it. The main event, presented by Xfinity, a triple threat, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. But Rosenberg, is it really a true triple threat when you've got the presence of one Paul Heyman in the mix?
You're saying there's an extra threat that looms.
I'm just saying, I don't know if it's a genuine triple threat.
I hear what you're saying. Listen, Paul Heyman looms large over all of WWE and certainly every event that he's a part of. And in this one particularly, so many strong feelings around him. The history with Roman Reigns, the history with CM Punk, and of course he'll be with CM Punk. But Jackie, you have to question, with that history with Roman Reigns, that can't all go away, even with the bad things that have happened recently.
Well, there's no way Roman Reigns is okay with what's gone on with Paul Heyman, aligning himself with CM Punk.
But does Paul feel some sense of guilt? I mean, this is a crazy thing, right? And then Seth Rollins also has his own feelings on Paul Heyman and feeling that he's owed something by Heyman as well.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because I talked to Seth Rollins earlier this week, and he said prior to last week on Monday Night Raw, he really felt like Roman and CM Punk have both overlooked him. And when you really think about it, they kind of have. And Seth Rollins is someone who has proven himself to be a visionary, an architect. We've seen him in the past be a step ahead of the competition of, if you will, Roman Reigns of all people. How
could you ever sleep on a guy? The guy who put the chair on the back of Roman Reigns. No chance the Tribal Chief, to me, goes to sleep in that moment. But also, we can't forget about CM Punk here. This has meant so much to him. He's getting his moment. Will the moment be too big for CM Punk? He's got his Mania main event now.
I don't know. He can check that off his bucket list officially. And when we look at CM Punk, he certainly is someone I think that always tends to rise to the level of the occasion. We'll see if that is the case here at WrestleMania 41. A main event is a triple threat, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman in the mix. Oh my God, I can barely wait. It's all presented by Xfinity as we throw it back to you, Cole.
Countdown to WrestleMania is presented in part by Xfinity. Stream all the WWE action you love with Wi-Fi. Most of the biggest moments, Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming. Hey, Wade, Jackie did an awesome job on that report, and it's not a shock, as you and I know she's very comfortable in the bar.
We know the bar better than anyone. She's our wing woman.
Nonetheless, let's talk about this match tonight, our main event. Guys, I cannot wait. Three of the biggest stars in the history of this business. Biggie, let's start with you. For the first time in like 4 or 5 years, Roman Reigns is actually going, we'll get to him in a moment. Roman Reigns is actually going to walk to the ring alone. No bloodline, no Paul Heyman, all by himself.
It's going to be a different sight. And look, we say this oftentimes ad nauseum in a match like this. But let's all remember, there is no DQ in a triple threat. So Paul Heyman, to me, is the factor. He is the major key. And where truly does where does he align? I know he's going to come out with CM Punk, but you can't tell me that he can just simply divorce his connection with Roman. And I'm really just intrigued to see where Paul fits in with this whole story.
Wade, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I mean, this illusion that somehow Paul Heyman isn't fully in bed with CM Punk to me is crazy. We know the history between Punk and Paul Heyman. It runs a lot deeper than the history.
It goes back 20 years to Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Yeah, and the truth is, would Paul Heyman ever have aligned himself with Roman Reigns had CM Punk been on the scene here for the 10 years he was AWOL? I would suggest probably not. The real favoritism from Paul Heyman has always been with CM Punk. CM Punk played his cards perfectly. He laid the ace at the right time, and Roman Reigns is now in big trouble.
I think Seth freaking Rollins brought this up on Monday. Paul Heyman has a massive brain. Paul Heyman has had an acumen of success in this business since he's literally a teenager. You talk about Louisville promotion, OVW, long before that, whenever he was sneaking in as a 14-year-old to cover things at the Garden in this industry. Seth Rollins basically told Roman that, hey, Paul picked CM Punk here. He didn't necessarily owe a favor. Certainly that could have been a favor. He picked CM Punk. So does that mean Paul Heyman think that CM Punk is going to walk out of his first ever main event at WrestleMania as the champion? Is that why Paul did that? Roman Reigns, he said he brought his entire fight camp out here from South Florida to Vegas. He seems comfortable and content. And then Seth freaking Rollins, if he puts both these heads through the mat and walks out of here on top, he thinks he saves wrestling, basically. There's so much on the line from these three.
And when you go through the archives and you look back to 10 or 15 years when Paul Heyman basically said to CM Punk, when you finally main event WrestleMania, I am going to be there with you. So it's come full circle here. My question for everybody is, where does this whole Seth Rollins thing figure in? You remember a couple of weeks ago, Seth said, hey, you owe me a favor.
Yeah, I'm concerned about Seth Rollins in this one. I think Seth Rollins, first of all, is incredibly bitter about Roman Reigns. He's also incredibly bitter about CM Punk. That's not an ideal way to go into a match like this. Secondly, this whole Paul Heyman, you owe me a favor. CM Punk already played that card. He's already won the hand. This is desperation to me from Seth Rollins, and I'm concerned about where his head is really at in this one.
You know, we had Roman Reigns, Pat did, on the Pat McAfee show on ESPN this past Friday. I was guest host, thank you. And Roman, I was asking about Seth Rollins. He basically said, what was the quote he said about Seth? He's a loser. He doesn't belong in any of this.
Yeah,
he's
basically.
bitter. What I wanted to ask Roman, until he bullied me and embarrassed me, was the fact that
he made you pee your pants.
He did.
Thank you, Roman.
Look what you've done.
Thanks, Wade. You owe me that one. But
boom.
But I wanted to ask Roman this. Let's don't forget the obsession that Roman Reigns has had with Seth Rollins for a decade. And the fact that a year ago, at this event at WrestleMania, Roman's obsession with Seth Rollins cost him the record-setting reign, losing to Cody Rhodes.
I mean, can you blame him? Look, his brother, his supposed brother, stabbed him in the back, famously hits him in the back with a steel chair, imploding a group. Look, those guys, that kinship, I got to see it kind of up close and personal. Those three guys meant so much to each other. Them coming up together, fighting against the system, meant a ton to each other. So to have your guy who was with you every single day along the way in that journey to stab you in the back, I can't blame Roman for still having bitter feelings towards Seth. But I think those feelings that Roman has could get in the way. And look, I think we're so concerned about Paul and Roman and Punk. I think Seth could fly above it all and win this match tonight.
Great point. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our main event of WrestleMania Saturday. How great has Las Vegas been this week to WWE? The city has welcomed us with open arms as we prepare for WrestleMania Saturday at Allegiant Stadium. But the weekend is just a celebration of everything professional wrestling and everything WWE. You know, over at the Convention Center, of course, there is WWE World that continues through Monday. Speaking of Monday, Pat McAfee brings his show on ESPN to WWE World starting at 9 a.m. here on the Pacific Coast. Also, that's where you can find the WWE Superstore. Anything WWE, anything that you want to purchase is there, WWE. But guys, this has been an unbelievable weekend here in Las Vegas. And you were telling me earlier, you want to celebrate things with the WWE fans, have a little bit of fun with them here tonight.
I said that? Is that a thing I said?
Yes, because you said you wanted to jump up and cheer and go, New Day rocks!
You're the fun guy, not me.
Where is this coming from?
We're getting to that later.
Okay, all right.
I got way ahead of myself.
All right, yeah,
I thought we were
really.
doing the selfie
You're
cam.
celebrating.
That's my bad.
Yeah, no one said a word to me about
Pump
that.
the brakes,
Not a
Michael
word.
Cole.
Hey, listen, you know, we had a new
What a pro.
What happened?
What?
You got a big stack of notes
Hey,
in front of you. Read
we
them.
had a new category last night at the Hall of Fame. It's called the Immortal Moment. Here's what it was.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, you can't be counted out. You cannot be disqualified. You've got to quit to end the match.
As soon as Brett and I started going, I'm tuned into the crowd. We've got them hooked right from the get-go.
There's a certain magic that comes out from two guys that are just professionals.
Bret Hart is spinning months and months of frustration on Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Two guys that could make really small things mean an awful lot.
These two men are battering each other.
The physicality just got that much more intense.
You can sense that something extraordinary is taking place.
All of a sudden, something Bret Hart would do, he would get booed, and Stone Cold, he's getting cheered.
He's almost got it! Sharpshooter! He's got it on! Can you imagine the pain that's rushing through Austin's body?
That match was just so iconic right from the moment it happened.
Austin never gave up!
Such a beautiful story.
Without Brett, I don't think you got Stone Cold.
Curious your thoughts. You know, WrestleMania's in Vegas this year, Sunday night after the show gets done. It's still kind of early. People are going to want to go see something big. Got any ideas?
What if we do a roast?
Roast?
Who's ready for the best night of their lives?
The Roast of WrestleMania, featuring Tony Hinchcliffe and friends.
Nice shoes, I could go off the rails in a really bad way. Let's do it.
The Roast of WrestleMania, live from the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas, tomorrow. Tickets on sale now.
Fanatics Fest NYC is back and coming in hot.
Game time, hit the shot and look down at my wrist just like it's game time. Know I'm in the field, kicking game, I'm on the main line.
Stacked with WWE superstar appearances too legendary to miss. June 20th through the 22nd at the Javits Center. Tickets on sale now at fanaticsfest.com.
Like, even before this match, like, we know that we've got a story here. I mean, you can't, I would be totally full of crap if I knew it was going to go for 20 or 25 years. But you know you're in the middle of something that has a lot of legs, and there's a lot of potential for different ways for this thing to go.
We talked about this as kind of stylized a little bit after the Ali Foreman stuff. Right?
Mm-hmm. Rope-a-dope.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing though, man, I've been cane for, however, 6 months or so. I was still trying to find my way a little bit.
Still figuring out, yeah.
And I wish we'd had this match a little later anyway. Yeah, well, that didn't work.
Oh!
Again.
Oh! You know what? That actually was a lot smoother than I remembered it being. And I don't have any idea what I was thinking when I tried to do that.
I don't know either.
Oh, it's so nice to be able to get my leg up like that. Whoa, I forgot
bang.
about that.
I'll never forget about that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. I missed. That was the first time I think I'd ever missed. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I missed, but I think that was the first time he out-scouted me.
Yeah. Now you just get stuff thrown on you, and the poor Spanish announcers are scrambling for cover.
Poor Spanish announcers. Picking up the pace now. Like, all right, I got him hurt. Here comes the flying cow. I don't know if the general audience knows that's what you named that.
I didn't name it that, actually.
Oh, you did? I thought that was yours.
No, Triple H called it the flying cow because it was like when in Monty Python when they were throwing the cow over the castle walls with the catapult. That's where that came from. Like, thanks, dude.
I tell you, it's quite a sight laying down there looking at 330 pounds standing up there like, oh my goodness. Surely he's going to run out of gas at some point.
Well, you know, I'd run through everybody like a knife through butter up until this point.
That wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Whoa. Yikes.
All right.
I feel pretty good about myself after that now.
I'm not sure about that cover. I don't know what.
I think we got away from that. That was my cover, yeah. If I'd actually done it, maybe I'd have been able to beat you here, but darn it.
Building some momentum now. You gave me a little crack in the door. Damn you. Damn you to hell, Undertaker. That's it, baby. Or so he thinks. Ow.
Boy.
Ow. That may be worse than the tombstone I gave Coco Beware my first match. How bad did that hurt?
Didn't. Had a lot of padding.
Ladies and gentlemen, aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating 100 years of an American icon, the Goodyear blimp. You know, it wouldn't be WrestleMania season, it wouldn't be WWE if it wasn't for some good old backstabbing. And it's only appropriate that Wade Barrett narrates this package.
Hustle, loyalty, respect. Values that build legends in the squared circle. But the bonds built on these values are fragile. And when opportunity knocks, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. The knife always cuts deepest when wielded by those we trusted most.
Hulk Hogan has betrayed WCW!
Blood isn't always thicker than championship gold.
Nikki just knocked out her sister!
Ambition destroys friendship.
To challenge you for a World Championship match in the WrestleMania.
Jealousy corrupts brotherhood. Power outweighs allegiance. One moment can change everything and reshape the landscape forever. The unthinkable can happen. Hustle, loyalty, respect, they can all shatter.
Why don't you get out of this ring and get back to your desk where you belong?
What the hell? I swear to God, I thought these two men were best friends.
You're supposed to be my friend!
And this year at WrestleMania, we discover whether the price of betrayal is truly worth its weight in gold. Or worth absolutely nothing at all.
Well, the latest incident of backstabbing in WWE involved this woman, Jade Cargill. As personal as it gets when Naomi stabbed her in the back. Tonight, retribution on Jade's mind.
Hey, we need some help! Hey, we need medics! Hey, we need some help here! Hey, paramedics!
Look, all I can say at the moment is the investigation is still ongoing. I don't see any other option besides you having to relinquish the tag team titles.
No, I don't want to do that. What are you talking about? No.
If she needs a tag team partner, I can step up to the plate. Yes, Naomi has always had my back.
Naomi is standing side by side with her longtime friend, now turned tag team championship partner.
We got to move forward with just me and you, but that doesn't mean that we're going to forget about what happened to Jade. You got Nia, Candace, Tiffany, Liv, Raquel. When I find out who did it, it's on site.
There's been a development in the Jade situation.
Is that Liv and Raquel? I knew it! I knew it! I told you!
This is the 7th Women's Elimination Chamber match in history. Naomi and Liv Morgan will start things off.
A storm is coming.
Jade Cargill is back! We haven't seen her since she's attacked! Liv Morgan, look at the look on her face!
Close the cage!
Well. Say hello to some comeuppance!
Wait a minute! Jade has attacked Naomi! Does she believe it was Naomi who attacked her a number of months ago?
Not to harp on Naomi much longer, but how did you know that she was the attacker?
You know, Kathy, all I can recall is being hit from the back and being thrown on a car. And then as everything grew dark, seeing Naomi just run away. I mean, that was my big sis. I mean, how can you trust anyone after that?
I've always been a woman to do the right thing.
I did it for you. I did it for us. No, don't touch me.
Me and you, we're done.
Now that you're back, Bianca won't even look at me.
You tried to take me out because of your own insecurities. I'm not just angry. I'm pissed.
When I think about all that I've sacrificed, all that I've given, and that's what really breaks my heart.
Time has run out.
This will be mine!
This WrestleMania, the glow is fading.
At WrestleMania, I strongly advise you.
I'm your biggest threat.
To proceed.
Because a storm is coming.
Caution.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be quite the personal match. Wade, you've been following this since the beginning. Does Naomi know what she actually did when it comes to Jade Cargill?
I think Naomi has played this perfectly. Out of this whole situation, Naomi got herself a tag championship run. She got a completely cool new persona and look that has breathed new life into her career, and now she's got a marquee singles match at WrestleMania. What has Naomi done wrong thus far?
Now,
it's been perfection.
If there's anybody on this table that knows about backstabbing, it's Big E. And what had happened at the hands of Kofi and Xavier Woods. And I mean that respectfully. And so I would assume you sort of know what Jade Cargill is going through at the hands of Naomi.
Absolutely. Look, I get it. And look, but I understand where Naomi is coming from. She is someone, she started, I think, the week after me in FCW. I have known her for 16 years. She's been in this company a long time. She's been a world champion, but she felt very much like she's being pushed aside, and here is the new superstar, and Jade is worthy of that. You look at her presence, her athleticism, she is it. And I think Naomi felt very much like she was going to be cast aside, and she had to do something. It wasn't the right way of doing things, but she felt like she had to act. And look, I am really excited for this match. I think there's so much animosity here. And Jade she has been on a tear because, look, if someone puts you through a windshield like that, That is the appropriate response. I am so excited for this match. This is Jade's first singles match at WrestleMania. It's a real, like, hey, are you ready to be at the top of this women's division moment for her? So I'm excited to see what these two women do tonight.
I think everything we've seen from Jade says, yes, she is ready to be at the top of any division that she has put in for the rest of her life in anything. Now, Naomi's gonna have to deal with the decision that she made. She said numerous times to Bianca, I was doing this for us. This is something for me. This is for us to go higher and higher. Jade's heard all of that. You turned against me. You tried to murder me with a car. And tonight, I think Jade, if we see anything like the Jade we saw at Elimination Chamber, ooh, call the ambulances. Things are about to get wild between these two.
You guys don't think there's any jealousy at all involved in this thing from Naomi?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Listen, the truth is, we can all play innocent. Most people who get stabbed in the back have really deserved it. Arguably, Big E deserted the New Day and deserved to be jettisoned.
That's
right. Clearly, that's arguable.
Let the record show my neck is broken, by the way. Let the record show. That's what's out.
Yeah, I hope you feel terrible.
Yeah. You left them on their own. You didn't offer to help them when you could have helped them at least a year earlier.
Oh, shut up,
You
Wade.
stayed in the shadows, and the truth is, Jade Cargill tried to steal all the spotlight away from Naomi, tried to kind of get in between her friendship with Bianca, which dates way past.
But doesn't
before
Bianca,
Jade showed up.
shouldn't she be blamed a little bit in this as well, that Bianca allowed that to happen, allowed this new person to come in and get in the middle of the friendship with Naomi?
Bianca had no idea. Bianca's trying to lift everybody up. Bianca was trying to ride high. We're champions. Heading into Elimination Chamber. We got an opportunity to get a WrestleMania, get a title shot, which she does have. So Bianca was trying to lift everybody up. This is just drama within the group that nobody wants.
Yeah, and let's not act like Jade was some albatross in this group. The Big Three was a moment. I think she brought new life to Naomi's career as well. So let's not act like Jade was just hanging on the whole time. You disagree?
No, I agree that the Big Three should have been a moment. How it was perceived by everybody was the Big Two and Naomi. Oh, Naomi's there too. That's how everybody treated Naomi. They were treating Naomi like she was just some funkadactyl, not some main event star who has won world championships. It was an absolute disgrace the way Naomi was dragged through the dirt and treated as a lesser part of the Big Three.
Well, we're going to see more. This is as personal as it gets at WrestleMania. We understand that Sam Roberts and Kathy Kelly are in the locker room area with more on this story.
Thank you, Tess. We've been talking about this all afternoon.
Yes, we have.
The thing about Jade Cargill and Naomi is that it has opened up the door to a brand new Naomi. I mean, Kathy, you've been following Naomi's career forever, yes?
Yeah, I would consider her a very good friend.
A very good friend.
Yes.
So how has she been outside of this? Because she also considered Bianca Belair a very good friend, and now she's become a little obsessive.
I mean, it's really hard because you've seen Naomi at her best. Not saying that she's not at her best right now, but we've seen her and she's just so happy all of the time. She really is such a positive spirit, and to see this shift in dynamic has been absolutely mind-boggling.
To Wade's point, a lot of people did see Naomi drawing short stick when it came to the Big Three.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is this attitude adjustment in Naomi maybe what she needs? I mean, she's already found herself a one-on-one singles match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that this shift is not warranted. I mean, going back to Royal Rumble 2024, Jade Cargill actually eliminated Naomi. So there's so much history there, despite Jade Cargill only having a shorter career here in WWE.
Are you saying you thought it was justified?
Not,
that Jade Cargill was put through the windshield
don't put words
of a
in my
car.
mouth.
It was justified.
Don't you dare put
you
words in my
heard it here
mouth, Sam
first.
Roberts.
Kathy
No,
Kelly,
I did not say
friend
that at
of
all.
Naomi, believes that it was justified that Jade Cargill got put through a car windshield. It
Sam
has
Roberts.
placed us where we are at. In Las Vegas, Nevada, at WrestleMania 41. We've said it all.
Well, thanks, guys. More on that later on in the show. Let's head over to Byron Saxton, who's in the fan cricket zone. Hey, Byron.
Hey, thank you very much, guys. I indeed am in the cricket zone area of WrestleMania 41 here in lovely Las Vegas. Ton of cool things to do. Check them out behind me. Number one, you can create your own custom poster. You can pose like a superstar. You can play some 2K25. People are going nuts. But we all know tonight a lot of the talk has been the main event. The triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. So what I've done is I've compiled a list of unofficial experts, my Cricket Zone panel, who will provide their opinions on who's going to walk away from the main event with their arm raised in victory. So we're going to start off with this young man right here. What's your name?
Tavio.
Okay, Tavio. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns. Who's your pick?
Roman.
Roman Reigns. Got one for Roman Reigns. One for the ones. Young lady, what's your name?
Riley.
And who's your pick?
CM Punk.
CM Punk. Oh, right down the middle. Okay, settle down, settle down. We have another expert to talk to. Your name, sir?
Emilio.
Emilio, who's your pick?
I gotta acknowledge my tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Another one for Roman Reigns. And last but not least, young lady, what's your name? Uh-oh. Look, this is a tough decision. I understand. Okay, it's very emotional too. All right. Last one right here. What's your name, sir?
Max.
Who's your pick?
CM Punk.
I don't know. I mean, we are in Vegas, and if I was a betting man, I'd walk away from the table because I have no idea who's winning this match. But guys, we'll continue to gather opinions here, and I'm going to send things back to you all on the panel.
Thanks a lot, Byron. This, of course, is the WrestleMania Countdown Show for WrestleMania Saturday. We are live outside Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Just a little over 2 hours to go before we kick off WrestleMania Saturday. We'll be back in just a moment. An absolutely incredible scene. This is what World Wrestling Entertainment is all about.
WWE Clash in Paris, Sunday, August 31st. Tickets on sale Friday with pre-sale Wednesday.
Born in the heart of Mexico and forged in the fire of tradition, the art of lucha libre is more than a spectacle. High-flying warriors and the masked heroes have captivated generations. It is a legacy rooted in honor, passion, and an unbreakable spirit. In lucha libre, the mask is sacred, a warrior's soul woven into every stitch. The luchador's mask may conceal their identity, but their undeniable connection can craft a legacy that echoes throughout eternity. Today, this time honored tradition carries forward, but there is one star that shines brighter than all the rest. He is a champion, an icon, a Hall of Famer. He is the evolution of lucha libre, and we all know that la evolución es un misterio. He is
El Grande Americano. After being blackballed for many years, it's a pleasure to be back. I was on my way to being a freaking hero for these people, just for the whole lucha libre community to rise up against me. So after all I did, you blackball me? Nobody blackballs El Grande Americano. I blackball you.
What the hell is that? A Hurricane Rana! Down goes Ray! And the security dragging this luchador out here. Did that man say American made?
That was Jackie.
Ray. Wrong. That was El Grande Americano.
You're trying to tell me that the man who was out there wearing a lucha mask, that wasn't you.
What I'm telling you, Kathy, is security here is clearly pathetic.
You're a real jackass.
You let him talk to me like that? Dr. Snow, really?
Greatest luchador of all time? Are you kidding me? Rey Mysterio and his little pals. They are just a cheap knockoff of El Grande Americano.
Hey, is that a piece of metal?
It was a cold towel, obviously. But of course, Ray couldn't help himself.
Oh no, headbutt to Ray with a loaded mask.
making a mockery of the art and tradition of lucha libre, and you know who that is. El Grande Americano. At WrestleMania, I need to expose him for the fraud that he is.
At WrestleMania, I show you what a real luchador looks like. Tonight, on the grandest stage of them all. Legend versus the legend of all legends. Rey Mysterio. El Grande Americano. The true identity of Lucha Libre will be revealed. Booyaka. Booyaka. Booyaka.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 hours away from the start of WrestleMania Saturday. The WrestleMania Countdown Show continues outside Allegiant Stadium here in Las Vegas. A raucous crowd behind me here this afternoon. Triple H has had quite the week in WWE. Not only is he responsible for putting all this together, last night he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Earlier this week, he had the opportunity to sit down with our own Peter Rosenberg.
Thank you for making time.
Yeah.
This is a crazy, crazy time. Congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
When you look back on your career in the ring, let's start there. What is the greatest accomplishment for Triple H as an in-ring performer?
Oh, man. There's a lot of things I'm proud of along the way, most of which don't have that much to do with my career, actually. You know, like if I was to say, like, the evolution time frame of helping to get Randy and Dave, they did the work, but helping them get there, being part of that, to see them both become the massive stars and icons that they are in this business, to do that with Rick, who was my hero. The Foley match in 2000, street fight, all the things that led to that, that was a match that sort of put me on the map as being tough enough to survive at the upper echelon of WWE. So in many ways, I look at Mick Foley as a guy that helped make my career, you know. Any of the stuff I did with Shawn was always a highlight for me because we were so close, and it was like whether I was with him in DX or working against him. End of an era match with Taker, with Shawn as the referee, for the three of us was legitimately like a moment in time of, there's a moment at the top of that ramp where that's completely just, it's Mark Calloway, Paul Levesque, and, you know, Mike Hickenbottom standing at the top of that ramp, nothing more. There's so many of those moments that were incredible.
Does it ever blow your mind to think of that guy who was driving your boys around in these rental cars as you're sitting now on the WWE jet? Do you ever really like stop and go, this is insane?
Yeah, a lot. That's part of the process of, I think, sometimes you have to like fish the lessons out of, right? Kowalski taught me a lot of that I find myself saying and quoting today that I had no idea that he was actually teaching me something at the time. I just thought he was being a prick or whatever, right? You have to keep it in perspective, and you have to, you know, there are days when there's something wrong with your private plane and you're like, damn it, this piece of plane, you know, and you're like, this is a wonderful problem to have. My private plane is going to be late. Or, you know, if you could say to me, what's the one thing that I hope people took away from me working with them over all this time is like, have fun doing this, because it doesn't last long. You get to do it. It's amazing. Hopefully, if they've worked with me, that's the stuff they get to take away from it.
Which brings us to a superstar right now who's having an incredible time, and that is Jey Uso.
Yeah.
This has been a really incredible thing to watch. Why is this the right moment for Jey Uso to be in this spot?
Because people made it happen. He has a charisma and a likability that he lets people in and they want to see him succeed. So when you walk into a building with 10,000, 30,000, or 60,000, and he walks out and that whole place is doing his entrance with him and is hanging on everything he does and are hanging on his words and are hanging on his moments, right? That's what it takes to be a top guy. It's about box office. And when he's in that crowd doing his entrance, you can see he's not going through motions. He is in it with them. He's in it with that kid that's standing next to him, that's doing that with him. He's living for that moment, right? Like, win, lose, or draw at WrestleMania, that's his moment. That connection with that crowd will be his moment. He just has it. He's on his own, able to show it, and at WrestleMania, we'll see if he can put his money where his mouth is.
So let's talk about WrestleMania a little bit more, specifically the main event, the triple threat, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. What excites you most about this match, and what is sort of one of the things that makes a triple threat particularly exciting when done well?
So, normally when there's nothing on the line, triple threats to me are a bit odd. This one was a gamble, and was a very calculated gamble on the fact that you have three talent at the top of their game, arguably at the peak of their careers, that all have an interaction that is undeniable when you dig into it. What's interesting about this triple threat to me is the fact that you have Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, who arguably have more history than anybody in the company from the Shield. They came in the door together. Seth turning on Roman to begin his singles journey over time with those two. The history is 10, 15 years of it. You add Punk into that equation now. Here's a guy that they were sort of brought in to be with. That goes awry. He leaves. A lot of people feel abandoned. A lot of people feel like that were close to him feel like he walked away from them. And then you have guys like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns that break their backs rebuilding this. In their mind, we carried on without you even when you took a shit on us and left and all these things. And there's a lot of animosity there. You know, there's a lot of storyline here and there's a lot of shoot here of these three guys. They've got a 10 to 15 year history. Sometimes when you get it to WrestleMania, people think, okay, but that should be the definitive end. So if you're telling me that story, I want to see this definitive end. Well, maybe we're just giving you the definitive beginning. This will come across and people will criticize the shit out of this. One thing that Kowalski said to me in the very beginning is, you tell them where it goes. They don't tell you where it goes, right? You listen to them. You adjust accordingly. You try to think where they will go emotionally. But at the end of the day, we work them.
Tomorrow on WrestleMania Countdown, our conversation continues.
If you could choose, do you wish that we still lived in more of a behind-the-curtain world?
I love the fact that we can go show all the things that go into it that you don't see any of it. That's just as fascinating as the product itself. So I love where we're at.
As you can tell by the WWE fans here outside the Legion Stadium, there's a lot going on. We have a major announcement that will involve Paul Triple H Levesque coming up here in just a matter of moments. But before we get to that, Jackie, you had the honor of hosting the red carpet at the Hall of Fame yesterday.
Yes.
It is amazing how much love there is for the new Hall of Fame inductee, Triple H.
1,000%. I do have to start, though, Cole, by saying I wasn't sure I'd ever see the day where I'd be sitting next to you on a panel. This is a huge moment
we've sat
for
in
me.
bar stools a lot over the years.
Listen, we've sat at a lot of bars, but we've never done anything quite like this on the air together, so it's an absolute pleasure to be up here with you. As for Triple H, I mean, we know the mark that he has made on the wrestling business, on the WWE world, but I think my big takeaway from hosting the red carpet last night is the impact that he's made on the people inside of that world. You know, Randy Orton talks, a legend in his own right, talks about there is no Randy Orton without Triple H. Charlotte Flair talked about the many iterations of her relationship with Paul Triple H Levesque, you know, starting as a child, almost like a father figure, turning into a mentor, and then becoming her boss and seeing her achieve so many things over the course of such a long time in her life. And so you hear people talk about him in that way, and you realize that he cares as much about the people helping him build this legacy as he does the wrestling business itself.
You know, Jackie, I like you being up here because Biggie has never said anything that nice to me in the many years we've worked together.
I don't believe that.
Of you. You stop.
Hey, Biggie, listen, no, seriously. For you and someone who's worked with Triple H for many, many years, he's meant so much to your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I haven't had much interaction with Triple H, the wrestler, but Paul Levesque, the executive, was running NXT at a time where I was still very green, trying to get my feet wet, and the course of my career really changed because of his direction and bestowing upon me the 5 count, famously, something that King Kong Bundy did. And, you know, that was something that I got to borrow in NXT, and my career really got to take off because of that. I was kind of floundering. So getting to work with Triple H, getting to work with Paul on a regular basis in NXT, trying to figure out how to build a character, how to connect with the crowd, was really instrumental. So I'm so thankful for that time, for Paul's direction, and you know, getting to go from the guy who did the 5 count to the main roster with Dolph and AJ was really great for my career. But none of that would be possible if it wasn't for Paul.
Yeah, we're also blessed that he gave you the opportunity to do this because you are absolutely sensational.
Thank you very much.
At what you do. You know, Triple H, it was talked so much about last night, what he's meant to this business. I just want to remind everyone, we're all here today because of what he's built over the past couple of years, and we are indeed in the Triple H era. Again, ladies and gentlemen, matter of moments, Triple H will be here. A massive announcement coming here on the Countdown Show. Later on, you will see Tiffany Stratton defending the championship, the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. Wade Barrett had the opportunity to sit down with the Queen.
Charlotte, thank you for taking time out and joining me.
Wade.
This is your 8th WrestleMania, WrestleMania 41. It's also your 8th Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. How does it feel to be in sunny Las Vegas?
I take WrestleMania very serious. It's the biggest show of the year. I feel like it's my domain. Every match has meant something to me, and you can ask me Sunday where this match will fall in my list of favorite WrestleMania moments.
Well, you seem like you're in a good place right now. But let's go back in time. December the 8th, 2023. Tribute to the Troops, Charlotte versus Asuka. You suffered what turned out to be a catastrophic knee injury in the match. Now, tell us about how the injury happened and your reaction once you realized the severity of the injury.
So I was already feeling a certain type of way about the match. Asuka and I have had a million matches from WrestleMania to random SmackDown Raws, pay-per-views. And I was like, all right, let's, you know, really kill it. We're here for Tribute to the Troops. And within the first 4 minutes, I was like, man, something don't feel right with my leg. I think the overall thing was like, I don't know how to be injured. I didn't know what being injured was like, or just stopping in the middle of the match. So I got through it, and I could just feel like a wave of panic come over me, like...
Well, your body stopped cooperating with you because of the severity of this injury. I don't know if people really realize how catastrophic this one was. Torn ACL, torn MCL, torn meniscus. Tell us about the physical and emotional process that you had to go through on your rehab journey.
When you hear wrestlers being out for injuries for 6 to 8 months to a year, I'm like, oh, this doesn't happen to me. This isn't gonna happen to me. And then I have the x-rays on Monday, and they're like, you know, you have ACL, MCL sprain, we need to shave down your meniscus. So then I have my surgery in January, and then I think it was more the personal pressures of being a woman and knowing that my marriage was failing, that WWE was growing as a whole, and I just couldn't keep up, and I was injured again and out, and just like nothing was working. Like, my marriage is falling apart, I don't have children. I was just really disappointed.
So 14 months of personal and professional hell, and then the Royal Rumble in 2025, you walk through the curtain. That must have been a huge weight off your shoulders. Tell us about that moment that you stepped back out in front of the world.
I was really nervous. When I come through that curtain, there cannot be an ounce of doubt. Like, I know I am the queen. I know what I bring to the table, but how do you get there mentally? And then I walked out, did my spin, did my thing, and I was like, yep, I'm back.
You win the Royal Rumble. You were the first woman in history to do that twice. And then you had a decision to make.
Yes.
You had to choose which champion you wanted to face at WrestleMania 41. You chose Tiffany Stratton. Tell us why.
I think Tiffany, in the moment, probably inspired me the most. Like, all right, let's see what you got, kid.
Well, things between you and Tiffany have certainly got personal of late. There have been numerous verbal attacks, physical attacks.
Say.
Yeah, you in fact have even been sent home from an arena by management,
Not the first
which
time.
you then returned and attacked Tiffany once again. Tell us why things have got so ugly between the two of you.
I have a chip on my shoulder, and if I really look deep into Tiffany, I think she's got a chip on her shoulder. But now people are really invested in this WrestleMania match, and if there's anything that matters most to me, it's that people tune in to see Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. They're gonna tune in to see Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton on the biggest stage. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but win or lose, Charlotte Flair doesn't give up. Man, I have faced the best. I've beaten the best. I've lost to the best. So where Tiffany Stratton falls, I don't know. But I can always promise my fans and my haters that I am going to put on the best possible show, because that's what Charlotte Flair does.
When you have people as good as Cody, as good as Cena, how does it ever get any bigger than that?
From the entertainment capital of the world, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Sit on your ass and watch me be great.
WrestleMania from Las Vegas.
When you're Tiffany Stratton, perfection comes easy. I am the center of the universe. Everything goes my way.
I look so hungry, but I look so good. Tap on my face, soak on my diamond blood. Choke on the fame and hope it gets you high.
It is Tiffany time! This money in the bank!
I become a notorious being.
Tiffany's gonna cash in! Tiffany time is now!
Ever since I won this title, everybody's just been so obsessed with me.
I am wrestling's obsession. I have crafted a legacy that no one can touch.
I look so hungry, but I look so good. Tap on my face, soak on my diamond blood. Choke on the fame and hope it gets you high. Sit in the front row, watch the princess die. I become a notorious being.
Look who's with us.
WWE star Charlotte Flair. And I'm back.
Charlotte Flair is going to WrestleMania!
I want to talk about Charlotte Flair.
The WWE Universe doesn't bow to you anymore. They run on Tiffany time.
Newsflash, you're not that special.
I'm the perfect celebrity.
you know that I'm the woman here to take your throne.
Diamonds are forever, and so is Charlotte Flair. No one compares to me.
There's a new queen in town, Charlotte.
All hail. Bow down to the king. Bow down to the
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating 100 years of American icon, the Goodyear blimp. Ladies and gentlemen, we are closing in on the start of WrestleMania Saturday. We are live with a countdown show outside Allegiant Stadium. One of the matches on the card for tonight will feature Rey Mysterio, hoping to enter WrestleMania for the 13th time in his career against El Grande Americano. Rey Mysterio is with us in moments. He'll give us an update on his health after being injured on SmackDown last night. But speaking of some of the greatest luchadors in the world, we have a major announcement here tonight.
This is Lucha Libre. Born in the streets of Mexico, perfected in the ring. Masked warriors, high-flying chaos, pure adrenaline. For nearly a century, Lucha Libre has redefined wrestling. Una fuerza cultural inspirando generaciones. And now, the whole world is watching AAA and WWE. Taking Lucha Libre higher, faster, farther. Together. The future flies here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am flanked by some of the top business leaders in the world. I am flanked by some of the top luchadors in the world for a major announcement here this afternoon. WWE is announcing the acquisition of Mexican Lucha Libre promotion AAA. The acquisition is in partnership with Mexico-based sports and entertainment holding company Philippe. Joining me here tonight, Dorian Roldan Pena, AAA's general manager, Alberto Fascia Cohen, the Philippe chairman, Maricela Pena Harada, the AAA president, and of course the WWE's chief content officer, Paul Levesque. And most of the men and women behind me need no introduction. I want to start with you, Dorian. What does this acquisition by WWE mean, considering you've created some of the top talent in the world over the last 30 years?
It's something really important for us, and basically, it's the beginning of a new chapter in the story of Lucha Libre. You know, for over the last 3 decades, my uncle Antonio Peña, who was the founder of the company, my father Joaquin Roldan, that he passed away in 2017, and right now with the vision of my mother, Maricela Peña, we have been running a Lucha Libre company for almost 33 years. And to be finally here, with all our talent, with all the luchadores, we feel really, really proud.
Alberto, from a business standpoint, what does AAA partnering with WWE mean?
Well, the opportunity was there to take it. It's been years in the making. Being able to partner with TKO and WWE is something that I've dreamed for a long, long time. and having the support of the Roland family behind it, this is going to be an amazing thing for the years to come.
I'm excited because some of the top professional wrestlers on the planet will finally get to be seen globally. Now, Paul, you and I had this discussion, God, I bet it was a decade ago now, and you had this vision of bringing all these groups under this umbrella, and I'm like, are you sure you're actually going to do this? This is incredible. So for the WWE fans that are here, when is the first time we're actually going to be able to experience this?
Well, let me get to that in a second, but before we get into that, I wanted to thank Marcella. Thank you very much. Dorian, Alberto, what you have created is spectacular. We have nothing but respect for what you have created. We have nothing but respect for Lucha Libre. As you know, some of the greatest athletes in the world have come out of AAA, have come to WWE, have been seen all around the world. The impact of Lucha Libre, the cultural impact that it has had, it resonates through generations. It cannot be overstated. It is incredible. We look to further that tradition. We look to further that, to make all of these luchadors and everybody out here that loves that style, to make them proud of what it can be. WWE will take that to another level. And WWE, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but today there was an article in the LA Times that talked about the power and the popularity of Lucha Libre, especially in the Los Angeles area. So with that in mind, 30 years ago, I sat in my little apartment in Atlanta, Georgia, with Brian Pillman and a host of others, William Regal, as we watched the first Worlds Collide take place. So it is my honor to announce here 30 years later that live from the Forum in LA on June 7th, Worlds Collide will take place again. If you don't think that is exciting, you have to look no further than what is sitting at this desk here, standing at this desk here today. You have the greatest luchador, the most famous luchador of all time, my friend Rey Mysterio. The unbelievable Rey Fenix. The LWO, Raul Joaquin. The one and only Penta. The future Dragon Lee. Santos Escobar. And when you talk about history, the Garza family. One of the most spectacular luchadors of all time, Andrade. The current NXT Women's Champion, Stephanie Vaquer. And now, when you combine that with current AAA talent like the one, the only, the incredible Vikingo. As Rey Mysterio said in the package a little bit ago, this show is going to be incredible because starting now, the future flies here.
Again, WWE announcing today the acquisition of Mexican Lucha Libre promotion, AAA. I want to thank everyone here today, and of course all my friends who have been with me for the ride. Congratulations, everybody. This is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I cannot wait. Well, Triple H talked about how he sat in that room with Brian Pillman 30 years ago. I want to show you what he was talking about. This is 1994, WCW and AAA Worlds Collide, and it featured Well, a number of luchadors. It was the Sports Arena in Los Angeles. It was the first time a non-U.S. based promotion was shown live on United States pay-per-view television. The highlight, a six-man tag team match featuring Guerrera, Madonna's boyfriend in Psychosis, against Heavy Metal, the Latin Lover, and Rey Mysterio. The main event, Perro Aguayo beat Conan inside a steel cage. Standing by with the greatest luchador, in my opinion, of all time, is Jackie Redmond.
In most people's opinion, Michael Cole. Give it up for Rey Mysterio, hey? A well-deserved ovation for one, Rey Mysterio. I can't imagine an announcement of this magnitude without your presence, Rey. So thank you for being here, especially considering what we saw go down on Friday Night SmackDown. Let me just start with this. How are you feeling?
I wish I could say that I'm feeling great. I am spiritually, physically. It was unfortunate that I suffered an accident yesterday due to the hands of Julius from American Made. It's unfortunate that I'm not medically cleared to compete tonight.
So you are not going to participate in your match here tonight at WrestleMania?
As of right now, I don't have the clearance to be able to compete, but there is a replacement. And that is a good thing because Lucha is still going to be put on the map tonight. And that replacement is Rey Fénix.
Oh my goodness, congratulations, Rey Fénix. Will sub in for Rey Mysterio. Congratulations. This is a huge moment for you. And, you know, Rey, I do want to get your thoughts on this announcement as well. If you could go back to 14-year-old Rey Mysterio and tell him that this moment, this announcement about the acquisition of AAA would happen, what would 14-year-old Rey say?
I was listening to the announcement and I actually got choked up because if you think about a 14-year-old Rey Mysterio, a skinny little kid,
So that's where Dom gets it.
Yeah, probably, yeah. that had had so many obstacles ahead of him. Nobody believed that I was a wrestler. I had to push my way through. But eventually, when I started to make my wave, at the age of 17, there's one person that believed in me, Conan, who introduced me to the founder of AAA, Antonio Peña. And my first opportunity on national television was on AAA in 1992. So if you think about that, and it goes full circle, now WWE and AAA are one. If you would have told me that in 92, I would have said, you're crazy. Even thinking that Rey would be part of WWE. So this is such a beautiful time in Lucha Libre and wrestling for all of you, the fans, that make this possible. So, man, I'm just so, and I can't even stop there. My first pay-per-view, as we say, was in 1994 at Worlds Collide. Wow. So to be able to be part of that once again in 2025 is just unbelievable.
Yeah, Worlds Collide is back. Rey Mysterio, thank you for the time. It's so unfortunate that we are not going to see you in action here tonight at WrestleMania, but congratulations to you, sir. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you again. All right, Cole, back to you. Breaking news. A lot of news here in this segment.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. Three major things happening here we need to recap. WWE announcing the acquisition of Mexican Lucha Libre promotion AAA, the first experience for WWE fans, goes back to where it all began. Los Angeles, Saturday, the 7th of June at the Kia Forum. More on that as we go through the next few weeks. And of course, the third piece of news, Rey Mysterio will not participate in his 13th WrestleMania tonight, injured in a match on SmackDown last night. But he will be replaced by a man making his WrestleMania debut, and I'm sure it's going to light up the sky in Las Vegas, none other than the amazing Rey Fénix. Well, I'm going to head back into the Allegiant Stadium to get ready for the massive WrestleMania Saturday. Jackie and the crew will be back out here in a moment. Thank you, guys. See you in a bit.
Lately, there's been a lot of chatter. Talking about what happens when you take away the music. Strip away the fans. Lose the chant. What's left? Who even is he?
Well, it's just me, Uce. And maybe that's enough.
They gon' wanna put the cam on, make them put the jams on. This is who I am, and I'm everything the fans want. Center of attention, it was written in the plans. I said I'm on a mission, they don't even understand. I do this cause I love it, champion to the public. Steady rising above it, I'm loving who I'm becoming. I'm steady calling the shots, stay connecting the dots. No way I could ever lose, that ain't a part of my plot.
2 men left! Jay won the Royal Rumble! Jey Uso is going to WrestleMania!
Don't let us, one word. Yeet!
4 letters. 1 word. Hell.
Oh my God! The World Heavyweight Champion attacking Jey Uso! Let me introduce myself to you!
Every week is going to be hell, with WrestleMania being the most horrible display of violence this business has ever seen.
Gunther is zip tying Jey Uso to the ropes here.
What's he gonna get?
Don't do this! Come here!
Get closer!
I'm gonna kill you!
Get closer!
I'm gonna kill your ass!
Get closer!
You could try to take it all away from me.
You made the whole damn world stop!
But guess what, Uce? I'm still here. I'm not afraid of you no more. And I'm gonna ask the Lord to forgive me for the man who I'm about to become.
I am the greatest gift this company has ever received. I refuse to let Jey Uso ruin that for me.
Because when it comes to these people,
For 4th consecutive time,
this night,
to beat the living hell out of Jey Uso
that World Heavyweight Championship,
and walk out of WrestleMania still the World Heavyweight Champion.
I can sum it up what it'll be in 1 word. 4 letters. Mine.
Countdown to WrestleMania is presented by Cricket with fast and powerful nationwide 5G coverage. You can stress less and smile more as we inch closer
Oh, yeah.
to WrestleMania Night 1. We are less than 90 minutes away now from kicking off this thing. Let's check in with Kathy Kelly. What do you got, Kathy?
Well, Jackie, this is pretty cool because I am here on the WrestleMania set, but for the first time ever, fans can actually sit here on the WrestleMania set. From the very first entrance, you feel like you are part of the action. The views, absolutely insane. The energy will be electric, and the bragging rights, I mean, come on. We've already got some chants here in the stadium. It's looking good. Everyone is filling in. I mean, I can't wait for WrestleMania. The people who are sitting here, probably some of the best seats in the house. So let's send it back out to the panel.
All right, Kathy, thank you so much. You know, the best seats I've ever had at a wrestling event. The fans are excited, as they should be.
As
By
they
the
should
way,
be.
Jackie Redmond and Peter Rosenberg tagging in for Michael Cole, joining E, who, you know, the Blazer.
Oh, bless you.
Did you pick this, or
No,
did
this
your
is
better
all Troy.
half?
Shout out to Troy, stylist extraordinaire.
Oh, okay. The same Troy that styles Seth freaking Rollins?
Yeah, that's right.
Same guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on now.
okay. I see you. Well, listen, welcome
Thank you.
To the set, to the panel.
Well, listen, I had to hold back for a minute with that gigantic AAA announcement.
Huge.
Incredible
Massive.
stuff. And you and I spoke about this earlier, Jackie. I mean, this main event tonight, this triple threat match that we're going to get tonight, I cannot stop thinking about it because it's one of those things. Two of these guys are going to lose tonight.
I know.
And I just can't sort of wrap my head around who it could be.
I know. And look, I'm also so bummed about the news with Ray, but we got a really cool Ray to replace the other Ray. I'm really excited for Ray Phoenix. He is such an incredible performer, a man I've been a fan of for many years now. So we got a lot of moving parts here tonight, but it's going to be incredible.
It wouldn't be WrestleMania without a little chaos
Exactly.
and a few
That's what we
moving
do.
parts. Am I right? But you're right. The main event tonight, there are so many layers, and it just has this sense, this vibe to it that you know there's just going to be some stuff that's going to
Is that sense of stuff a man from New York named Paul Heyman? Is that the sense of stuff?
The sense is I don't trust the man, okay? I don't know how anyone could. I mean, I see why Roman and Punk have both had great, long relationships with Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman is always up to something, isn't he?
Well, he said to us last night at the Hall of Fame red carpet, when you asked him about it, he said, I will always be loyal to my tribal chief, full stop. I will always be loyal to my best friend, CM Punk. Something's got to give.
But he said he would never be disloyal to either. That was how he finished the statement.
Right, which makes me wonder, is there some possible alignment with Seth Rollins as well? Like, is that him playing does he jump to Seth?
Seth did not punt. Seth had the opportunity to punt Paul Heyman in the head.
Right.
And he did not.
And here's the thing. We've talked about this at length. Seth Rollins himself told me he feels that both Roman and Punk were so hyper fixated on this favor, on the Paul Heyman of it all, that they completely overlooked Seth Rollins, who has proven himself to be, I would say, a planner as a WWE superstar. He plans for things. He adapts to the changing environments, does he not?
So when he made that decision to not stomp Paul Heyman, that's not happenstance, Big.
I kind of think maybe Seth Rollins is up to something.
Look, he was called the architect in the Shield for a reason. He is someone who he might not always be the loudest, but he's thinking, he's plotting, he's putting things together behind the scenes.
He's smart, right? He is one who has, in the past, seen the writing on the wall in terms of how, power dynamics shift within WWE, who's in power, who's making decisions, and whether or not maybe he thinks about aligning with said powers. I don't know. This is all just pure speculation.
That's all we can do.
But that's when you know you have a great main event.
Exactly.
Is when you can speculate until the cows come home. But we also have a great match kicking off the night.
Yes. Oh.
Jey Uso. It's like David versus Goliath. Jey Uso taking on the ring general and Gunther, a man he has never defeated yet chooses to face him after winning the Royal Rumble. I mean, it sounds like Jey Uso wants a challenge, and he will get one in the form of Gunther.
Chess is a gentleman's game, where inside these four corners, every move matters. Much like the sacred mat, where I've been crowned king. And now I rule over the WWE Kingdom as the fiercest and most ruthless WWE World Heavyweight Champion of all time. My strategic ability is unmatched, while my attack is brutal. Constantly calculating every advancement and using my mental acuity to outsmart my opponents over and over again. Now to you, Jey Uso, a man who feeds off these pathetic pawns. These desperate peasants who cling on to slim odds and fleeting probabilities. My technique doesn't rely on blind hope. I'm an elite intellectual, far superior to an individual whose entire vocabulary exists of one syllable: yeet. Instead, I thrive on leading my opponent into a false sense of security. Where ultimately, you will have a lapse in judgment. And then, in that split second, Schach Mat.
The ring general Gunther set to defend his World Heavyweight Championship tonight against the 2025 Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso. And we have a clear fan favorite, I think, here in Las Vegas. The people are rooting for Jey Uso, but I'm not sure we have discussed enough just how dominant Gunther has been since stepping foot on the main roster in WWE. I mentioned this stat earlier in the show, 51-3 in one-on-one competition. You've seen a lot of superstars have success in this business. That is a start unlike most.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. His record is truly incredible, dominant. You don't see people with win percentages that high. I don't think John Cena even had win percentages, anything even close to that when he was champion for seemingly a decade. Gunther is truly incredible. And, you know, a lot of people, I feel like a lot of the online sentiment the last few months is, Gunther's reign it's been just, okay. But getting to see him in the ring with someone like Axiom was truly a treat. Yeah. When you get to see Gunther in the ring one-on-one against some of the best guys in the world, you are reminded truly how special this human being is. Let's not take him for granted. Getting to see him in NXT when he was abroad in the UK, man, banger after banger. The matches with Ilya were truly incredible. He brings a physicality to the ring that is so rare.
So old school.
Old school, yes. Banger after banger, as Sheamus would say. Gunther, we haven't seen anything like him. I'm not sure we will after. He's a throwback that still works in this era. I feel like he would have fit in with the Bruno Sammartinos of the world. He would have fit in any era. When you're that good at what you do, this man is special. Let's not take him for granted.
No, I totally agree. Because, like, no matter how much we may be interested and in love with the Jey Uso story, Gunther's been amazing, right? And he's about his business. To me, he's in a very tough spot tonight. I know that he's beaten Jey Uso many times before. But you know how in the NFL, when you've lost to a team in your division twice, no one wants to see that team for a third time in the playoffs? Because at a certain point, it just gets hard to beat someone who keeps coming over and over and over again. And also, everyone always expects Gunther to win, which I think is a really tough spot to be in night after night.
Listen, there's pressure at the top, right? There's pressure when you are the one that's expected to dominate over and over and over again. Gunther has lived up to those expectations for the most part thus far in his career, but heavy is the head that wears the crown.
I don't think he feels it, though. You look at his demeanor, look at the way he carries himself. I see him backstage, but he was like that from the very first day he got here. I think he was ready for the spot. He was ready for the role. I don't see nerves when I look at Gunther. When just the way he carries himself, he's ready for this moment, and I think that he sees himself as someone who should be in the ring with the CM Punks, with the Roman Reigns, with the John Cenas. He is not fazed by the pressure whatsoever.
So if Gunther, though, were to lose tonight after what you just said, and I think we all agree, he has said on numerous occasions he expected a better match for WrestleMania, right? Against a more worthy, well-decorated opponent. So if he goes into a match where he doesn't consider the competition to be on his level, and he loses, what would something like that do to Gunther?
I was just going to say, I don't know what a loss does to him, period. I mean, in some ways, I could argue it will be fascinating should that happen. You know, losing the IC title is one thing. Losing in this moment to Jey Uso at WrestleMania, I don't know. We will see. Sometimes you learn the mettle of someone when they lose in a big spot. We'll find out if that happens tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it's something he's even considering. I don't think it's something that's even crossed his mind. He's someone that believes he belongs here. And the evidence, when we look at his track record, when we look at what he's done at WrestleMania, the evidence proves that he does indeed belong at the very top of the card here in WWE.
We know what the ring general Gunther is capable of. We've seen it on display time and time again. For main event Jey Uso, we've said it over and over, he's never defeated Gunther. The thing about Jey is, if you've paid attention and you've watched the details with Jey over the last 7 to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, ever since he watched his brother take a beat down from Gunther, Jey Uso has a different tone, a different energy. We have seen a very serious Jey Uso, and that was extremely evident when I sat down with him one-on-one ahead of his match tonight. Take a look.
Jey Uso, we are just a few days away from Mania. How are we feeling? Huge match.
Rough couple of weeks, Jackie O, for sure.
I assume this is because of what you witnessed happen to your brother Jimmy, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, you see something like that, happen right in front of you and to the one person you love a lot, might do something to you.
What did it do to you? I mean, how has it shifted how you feel as you get ready for this match against Gunther?
It sat me down, Jackie. Made me focus. Started feeling myself a little too much out there, I feel like. But I needed Gunther to show me what he was really about. A lot has happened. I'm starting to listen to the noise a little bit. I hear him out there, internet talk. It's all good. Like, Gunther silenced all that. He embarrassed us on national TV. Got phone calls, moms, pops. His kids worry. My kids worry. Everybody, I got my whole family worrying. You know what I'm saying? I can't have that. It makes me feel different.
And you're coming off different. You have this potentially career-defining match at WrestleMania, but there's no colors. I haven't heard a yeet out of you yet. This might be the most serious I think I've ever seen you.
I just got to go back to what got me to the show, and that used to be just whooping ass.
Okay.
Running through from the bottom to the top, man. Just every single night, just running through them in the ring.
You've mentioned going back to the things that led you to this point to begin with. So can we talk about your journey? You go from being one half of one of the best tag teams in WWE history to now carving out your own legacy as an individual, as Jey Uso, as a singular WWE superstar. And I think a lot of people look at you and your career and they, in this moment, sort of define it with one word, right? Yeet. That sort of changed your life. But I look at your career and I think that the turning point for you actually boils down to 4 words. Deuces, ooses, I'm out. You make that decision almost 2 years ago to leave the bloodline, eventually take your talents to Monday Night Raw, and it's that decision that in hindsight we know opens up all of these opportunities, right? The journey begins, so to speak, at the Royal Rumble. You're in there with John Cena. You see his feet hit the floor. What is going through the mind of Jey Uso knowing you're headed to WrestleMania and you get to pick your path?
I would have never thought I'd be the last two with John Cena, let alone eliminate his ass, you know what I'm saying? But when his feet touch...
It's pretty legendary. It is. Yeet.
When his feet touch...
You're not eating very much in this interview.
Well, I'll yeet on that one. I know I was the last pick to win this Royal Rumble. And I shocked the world on that. I'm the last pick right now to beat Gunther. And at WrestleMania 41, I'm gonna shock the world twice, Jackie. I'm calling it.
You are 0-for against Gunther. So why choose Gunther when you haven't been able to have success against him with a championship on the line? What if you get in the ring with the man you handpicked for your title opportunity at WrestleMania and you come up short again?
If I lose to Gunther at WrestleMania, like that's it. All this work that I did to get here, it's gone. Do or die, because do or die.
All right, well, I think that is our time. So a very business-like approach from Jey Uso as we get set for WrestleMania. I appreciate the time. Thank you. Best of luck, hey?
Yeets.
Finally got one.
Only one yeet, 2 yeets from Jey Uso in that entire interview. Very unlike Jey Uso. And we talked a lot about his journey to this point, right? And I want to ask you specifically this question, because we look at everything in hindsight. Jey's one of the biggest stars in the company. His entrance gets the biggest pop week in, week out. But the decision he made a couple of years ago now to say, deuces, ooses, I'm out, I'm going on my own because I believe I can be a solo superstar. How hard is that decision for someone who's had tag team success? Because you've said before, when you're successful in the tag team division, you sort of get pigeonholed there.
Yeah, look, it's not easy. You know, I was just thinking this morning about Jay and his rise, and I go back to the WrestleMania that we had at the Performance Center during COVID. We were supposed to have a tag match. It was a ladder match. It was supposed to be The New Day, the Usos, and Miz and Morrison. Jimmy Uso tears his ACL in that match, and Jay is kind of thrust into this role of, hey, you got to do something. We got to find something for you. And then he goes on to have that incredible Hell in a Cell match with Roman Reigns, and people are saying, Jay is a guy we need to see elevated in the main event. Then he goes on to have this incredible run in the Bloodline. So this came out of nowhere in many ways. I'm not sure this is something that Jay had really planned. I think in many ways you can get comfortable being in a tag team for so long, where he's incredible, arguably the greatest tag team of all time here in WWE. And now you're being thrust in this position where it's, hey, your brother is out. We need you to do something. What can you do on your own? And he proved it. And look, Yeet has in many ways brought him to this dance. It has brought him to being main event Jay Uso. But I think what a lot of fans really connected with was that gritty Jay Uso we saw in the Hell in a Cell match with Roman Reigns, that we saw in the Bloodline. And I think as much as we still want to see him out entertaining, we still want to see him use the catchphrase that brought him to this spot. We want to see the Jay Uso that is going to give you his very all, that is going to bleed, he is going to sweat, he is going to cry, because winning that title means more than anything. That's the version of Jay Uso we want to see here tonight at WrestleMania.
And I think that's what we're going to get, because he acknowledged in that interview and with us on the red carpet last night, Peter, he hears the noise.
Well,
he hears people saying he has no chance, that he only has 5 moves.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that he seems like he's clearly aware that people are like sleeping on him. Yes, we know he's charismatic. Yes, we love his story. Yes, we love his catchphrase. But he hears you, internet smart fans. He hears you, I only have 5 moves. And he's here to show you that this guy is physically impressive in the ring as well. I completely agree, Jackie. That's on his mind. But he can't focus on that, because the task at hand has to be beating a monster in front of him in Gunther.
We talk about the pressure of the expectation of winning, but what about the power that comes with being underestimated? If you can use that to fuel yourself and motivate yourself to become stronger, man, I don't know. Being underestimated could be a superpower in a lot of ways. We'll see if Jay Uso can turn that into a superpower. Here tonight, we are getting closer and closer to Jay Uso's opportunity against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. All right, ahead of WrestleMania 41, WWE made an impact around the city of Las Vegas. Together with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, our superstars supported Make-A-Wish Kids, the Boys and Girls Club of America, and many other local nonprofits throughout the week.
Ahead of WrestleMania weekend, WWE superstars spent time in the Las Vegas community, unveiling the newly renovated club space at the John D. Jackie Gone Boys and Girls Club. Hosting Make-A-Wish Kids for a special induction into the Circle of Champions and an unforgettable experience at WWE World.
This is why I do this. WWE is just all for the kids.
This is what really matters. This right here is what means the absolute most to me.
These moments capture WWE's ongoing promise to leave a lasting impact in every community we touch.
Beautiful day today.
This is one of the things I love about WWE premium live events, especially WrestleMania. It really is a priority for this company to get out into the community and make a difference in every single city that we go to, and that's no different here in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely, and Make-A-Wish does such amazing stuff, and of course, the history of Make-A-Wish in this company, and it can't help make you think about that guy who's in the main event tomorrow night as well, who at one point granted more wishes than any other human being in history. It's pretty amazing.
I wonder how many wishes he's granted since he started being mean.
Well, it's a great question. But he's been in Europe. He's doing movies. He shows up. He yells at everybody, fights with Cody Rhodes, and promotes WrestleMania. And tomorrow night, we'll get to see what happens with John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
Yes, of course, that is the main event tomorrow night. We are now officially an hour away from kicking off WrestleMania Night 1, where the main event will be a triple threat. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. And of course, you have Paul Heyman in the corner of the best in the world. But right now, let's take a look at the journey for Seth Rollins.
March 29th, 2015. Somehow, it's already been a decade. WrestleMania 31 at the home of the NFL's San Francisco 49ers, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Like every live West Coast show, the day was a blur. Starting with an early start time in the bright sunshine of the San Francisco Bay Area. The second match on the card featured Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, with the Apex Predator gaining the victory after one of the most spectacular RKOs of all time.
RKO! Oh my God! What an RKO by Orton! And Randy Orton wins! The Apex Predator back at the top of the food chain.
So Rollins' WrestleMania was over before the event even really got started. Or was it? As the sun set over the Pacific, the main event was set.
And it is for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
It was a thrilling title bout. 70,000 strong stood in anticipation of something special, but certainly never expected what would follow. Goosebumps, shock, awe.
Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank!
No one saw it coming. It was a high-risk move that paid off.
Seth Rollins is cashing in his money in the bank.
Can't stop the Reigns!
It would change the entire landscape of WWE forever.
Seth Rollins wins the title!
For the Architect, it was the first world title win in a revolutionary first ballot Hall of Fame career.
History being made tonight. Mr. Money in the Bank cashing in for the first time in WrestleMania.
For myself, in the WWE Universe, a mind-blowing Mania moment that will never be forgotten. One simple line, born out of shock and disbelief, which will live forever in the canon of WWE.
The heist of the century!
Carmelo, you're next. You ready?
Man, I don't get ready. I stay ready. That's why I'm him.
Who's him?
Me. I'm him.
You mean Kim?
Huh? No, me. Him.
Oh, Tim.
Him.
Oh, Jim. Oh!
I am him, and you need a Snickers.
Get them wins. Yeah, I'm him.
I'm missing my road partner, man. Jace. Couldn't bring him this year, WrestleMania. Crazy schedule, right? That's right, dude. Okay. Oh, damn, it's a cake. It's a cake. So I really appreciate all this, man. It's fire. Never had a room this nice before. I had a couple nice rooms, but this one might top it for sure. It's like fruits of the labor, man. You know, bust my ass to get to the top, or to be #1 contender for, you know, the World Heavyweight Championship, man. That's the big one right there. It's about just being present most of the time, man. Damn. Cause all this can go away like next week or whatever. This might not, you know, I might not gonna put it out there, but say it doesn't go my way Saturday, like it's back in the line. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just enjoying the ride. It's Friday morning, about 8 a.m. Got some more media to do. Last day until go time, dog. Rap-On World. Headed to a SmackDown kickoff show tonight.
Now he understands me a little better. You know, you talk to him after Saturday, you talk to him after this weekend, and he's going to understand the elevation a little better. He probably already does. I'm sure he's been busy as hell this whole week, and I'm just so proud of him. Obviously, we have family's family, man. We're going to have some disagreements. We're going to have, we're going to butt heads in here and there, but at the end of the day, I want my family healthy, and I want them here a long time, being very successful, and that's exactly what he's doing. So, man, yeah.
I know he always had my back. It's just good to hear those words, you know? Kind of like the cut man in your corner, you know, just reassuring you that you're great, what you've done, and that I belong here, so, yeet.
Glad you're back with us for WrestleMania 41, Night 1 from here in Vegas. Joe Tessitore and Sam Roberts with you from now inside Allegiant Stadium as we welcome you in. The countdown continues. The excitement builds, and we've got this beautiful perch up here. They opened the doors just moments ago, and you can already tell it's filling in, Sam.
Oh, look at it, the spectacle that is behind us. I've been all over this building, but I can feel the energy.
Oh, you want
out
energy?
here.
You want energy? Let's break the fourth wall just a little bit here. Tucker, come with me right here. Folks, I want to show you this. Look at this concourse here.
Yes.
I mean, look at this scene right here. And they got the concourse bar as well. They got the concourse bar as well, so they're well hydrated here in Vegas. We'll bring you back to the set high above, not far away from the Raiders plane, as we are getting set for what should be an incredible World Tag Team Clash coming up, Sam.
Yes.
The War Raiders, the champions who have the belts, against the New Day. This is compelling.
Are you kidding me? It's beyond compelling. We've seen what the New Day has done. They've completely changed everything about them. They've betrayed their brother, and it's brought them to WrestleMania. The question is all that attitude enough to take out a couple of Vikings like these? The War Raiders care not.
124 days they have held these titles. Meanwhile, their chief rivals, the New Day, Byron Saxton is standing by with them.
I'm standing by with the men who will challenge the War Raiders for the World Tag Team titles tonight at WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, the New Day. Gentlemen, I've known you guys for a long time, and I have the utmost respect for everything you've accomplished in this company. But facts are facts. It's been over 4 years since you've held tag team title gold on Raw or SmackDown. As a tag team, you've never won a match at WrestleMania. So if you lose tonight, what does that do to the stock of the New Day?
I see. Because you won your NFL Fantasy League for 3 years in a row. You think you're good enough to be a head coach in the NFL. Saxton, no. We are the greatest tag team to ever exist. 12 championship reigns. And we're about to do it one more time. Lucky number 13. We don't lose title matches in Las Vegas, Saxton, and we're going to walk out with those titles.
How dare you bring all this negative energy and cast it on our aura, man? You have any idea what we do when we come to Las Vegas and wrestle for the tag team titles? You know what happened last time? Facts are facts. What happened, huh? We won the tag team championships and we celebrated on the Strip. Tonight's finna be a repeat, man. So instead of casting all this negative energy, man, why don't you take that energy and use it to appreciate the greatness that stands before you right now, Saxton?
And you can take this cheap-ass suit and your cheap-ass questions, and just like everybody else, when we win this match, you can drop down to your knees before us. Raise your hands high and scream out in unison, "Thank God for the New Day."
Thanks, guys. I'm going to say Thank God that interview is over. I'm going to send it back to you guys on the panel and let you discuss the New Day.
Byron, for what it's worth, I think he looks great.
Byron looks fantastic.
I think the suit is amazing.
I feel gaslit by the New Day.
First of all, let's talk about the negative energy that they're spouting off. If anybody has been throwing buckets of negative energy all over both the roster and the WWE universe, it's this group that's been termed the Boo Day because they're being booed so much, Sam.
Yeah, they're being booed nonstop. We all saw them turn on their brother, their best friend, Big E, who might be the most likable superstar that these fans have ever seen. I think that the New Day wants to be accepted on their own terms, but the WWE Universe is not accepting those terms.
14 times these teams have met in the ring, the War Raiders and the New Day. There is familiarity. Also, the World Tag Team titles have changed hands at the last 2 WrestleManias. Obviously, last year in Philadelphia, we had the ladder match with both sets of belts hanging up high. When you think about this matchup strategically, how do you size it up?
Look, you got to give credit to the New Day as hard as it is. They are one of the winningest tag teams of all time. They've won championship after championship
11 times.
after championship. But the question that has been brought up to the New Day ever since they turned on Big E has been, now what?
Yes.
They turned on Big E because they said they weren't going to the places that they wanted to go, but they still haven't won a championship since then. The New Day are in a must-win situation, and I don't know how you strategize a must-win situation against 2 behemoths.
That's right.
Like the War Raiders.
Yeah, obviously the size advantage with the War Raiders. Also, this version of the War Raiders have been watching since their return from near career-ending injuries. I think, strangely, even though they're at the autumn of their career, it's one of the best versions of them we've seen.
And I
the
think
teamwork's incredible.
Unbelievable. And I think the War Raiders want to take that autumn of their career thought out of everyone's head. They have every reason in the world to go, no, tonight's not the night for the New Day to get the spotlight that they've been desperate for since they turned on Big E. Tonight, the War Raiders want to make WrestleMania about the War Raiders.
And as much as we talk about where they are in the stages of career, keep this in mind for the New Day. They have not held tag team gold since April of 2021. And as a unit, Sam, now we had Kofi Mania way back when, but as a unit, they're 0-5 at WrestleMania.
Wow. I mean, look, I think that WrestleMania becomes big enough to scare some people off sometimes. I mean, the getting under those lights changes everything. However, the New Day, Kofi and Woods, are more together than they ever have been right now, and that's because everybody else is against them. If we thought there was this semblance of unity between the New Day in the past, I think that when the whole world, at least from their perspective, turns against you, that you have to go to the person that's on your side. Right now, it's Xavier and it's Kofi against the world, and that may make them an even stronger duo.
All right, let's transition to the United States Championship match that'll be coming up later tonight. It is LA Knight, looking to defend against Jacob Fatu. 8 days ago, Wade Barrett and I were in Seattle. Jacob Fatu had a vicious attack of LA Knight. He actually picked up the championship and held it in his hand. Last night, we saw what happened when LA Knight arrived at the T-Mobile Arena, and he came out and had a vicious attack on Tama Tonga. He pointed to Solo Sikoa. Then in the midst of that match, again, the Samoan Werewolf. This thing has been boiling up and over.
Well, yeah, because I think LA Knight doesn't want everybody to sit there and go, how do you beat a Samoan Werewolf? How do you beat someone that has no conscience? How do you beat somebody that lives to destroy? I think LA Knight's trying to prove to everybody, Jacob Fatu included, that he is coming to WrestleMania to destroy on the same level. However, trying to destroy on the level that Jacob Fatu destroys on is a fool's mission.
You know, it's interesting. Earlier today, we started talking about 2 hours ago when we started the show, we started talking about this match. And just as I was tossing it to Jackie Redmond, I mentioned to you, I said, Jacob Fatu, it hasn't even been a full year.
Unbelievable.
Has not even been a full year since his WWE debut. It seems like it's been 10 years with how many storylines he's been involved with how many big moments he's been involved with how many jaw-dropping attacks he's been involved with. Hasn't even been a full year. Here he is fighting for a championship at WrestleMania.
And the fact that every time somebody wins a championship, the fact that every time we start to wildly speculate about where a rivalry could go, his name comes up. And every time it comes up, it's at the tippity top of the card. People instantly see this Jacob Fatu as a threat to everybody that's on the roster, LA Knight included. Now look, there's no doubt, we see LA Knight t-shirts right in front of us.
Oh, I mean, everywhere you look.
People bought a ticket to WrestleMania 41 so they could cheer LA Knight. But Joe Tess, in your experience, not just broadcasting, but as a wrestling fan, have you ever seen somebody with capabilities to be a greater spoiler than Jacob Fatu?
No, and it's really the total package when you think about it. It's not just, listen, it's the look in the eyes. It's the fearlessness. It's the intensity. But for a man of his size to be so dynamic, to be so explosive, and to have a relentless high motor, he never stops. But I said it to you earlier, I don't know. Listen, when I'm broadcasting World Championship boxing here in Las Vegas, we will often use the phrase punch resistance. Totality of resistance, the ability to bounce back. There is nobody who has a higher resistance than Jacob Fatu.
That's the scary part. It's not even the offense. When the offense comes in, it's like, wow. But he will take every single hit that every superstar has taken and fall down, and somehow he'll get back up. And that is bad news when you're defending a championship. It may be bad news for the WWE. We talked about this earlier, but the more you think about it, the more you realize that winning a championship at WrestleMania puts you on the front page. You are a representative of the WWE. And now this person, who you have to think twice before you bring in public, could become the representative of the WWE by wearing the United States Championship.
Now, there is one X factor, I think, here, and that is experience. Yes, the Mad Dog has been set loose off the leash of Solo Sikoa to go on his own and hunt. However, this is his WrestleMania debut. There are moments when sometimes you have to realize how big the stage is. How does that factor into this United States Championship today for Fatu and the lack of experience on this stage?
It means everything. You know, LA Knight waited his whole life to get to stages this big, and he shines brightly on stages this big. But the fact of the matter is that Jacob Fatu seems to ignore everything else around him. When Jacob Fatu thinks that it's time to dog walk somebody, it's time to dog walk them. Know what I mean?
You know it, my man. That is coming your way tonight. The United States Championship match between LA Knight looking to defend against Jacob Fatu. Want to give you a sneak peek at Sinners, the new genre-based bending thriller from Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther and Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan, now in theaters and IMAX.
Ghosts, demons. We gonna kill them all.
We gotta keep everybody inside. We ain't gonna kill every last one of you.
I ain't gonna let that happen. Y'all have a nice night.
Sinners, rated R, now playing only in theaters.
One of the biggest stars in this entire industry, LA Knight.
I just need to cook for a minute.
They say legends never die, right? You ain't never seen a style like mine. You gon' see this in the highlights. I'm a product of that never-ending grind. I'm a predator in this prime, right? Far above any hate that you can climb. So why you fighting for the limelight? Somebody should have told you this is my time.
Let me talk to you.
Fan support just breaks the scale for the megastar. Where he goes, we get major ovations.
Call me what you want, but sooner or later, you will call me United States champ. BFT! Because I made it that way, with everybody saying, yeah.
You in the presence of a legend. We about to turn up to 11. The temperature shift when we step in.
Everybody looking is gunning for this thing. It doesn't matter if it's open challenges, world-class athletes, all alike. But no Nobody comes out with this because I won't let ya. And that's the way it's got to be because I made it that way.
Reckless and lawless. Disturbed. Violent, vicious, unpredictable, chaotic, absolutely unhinged.
God help us all. There's a werewolf on the loose.
Jacob Fatu was blessed with all of the physical gifts a human being could ever want, but none of the morality.
If you ain't know, I'm on gas, no brakes with it. Whoever get in my way, I'ma dog walk their ass.
How do you stop Jacob Fatu? The guy's like the undead. He just keeps coming forward no matter what you throw at him.
What, y'all thought I was crazy? Huh? I'm just getting started.
Fatu is no longer satisfied in playing a loyal soldier to anyone.
That U.S. title, I'm bringing it home to the family. With you or without you. You know what I mean?
No, cut that. I understand that this thing makes me a marked man. But understand something. I've been a marked man from the day I walked into SmackDown with the chip or not. But at the end of the day, WrestleMania, it's the same song. And still, United States champion.
LA Knight, come on with it. It's either you lay down or I will beat your ass down. Hell, I'm America's most wanted. Hell, I'm a menace to society.
Oh no, a taste of what's to come.
I'm off the leash now. I'm all gas, no brakes down. The way I see things, that U.S. title is coming to me.
Welcome back to the countdown to WrestleMania. We have moved our show inside, much like the WWE Universe, as we inch closer and closer to night one of WrestleMania 41. We are now just under 40 minutes away from getting things kicked off. Peter Rosenberg, Big E, Jackie Redmond with you as we continue to talk about all things WrestleMania. And guys, I did want to ask you about the main event, but I am getting word that apparently something has happened backstage moments ago. Our camera crew was there earlier today. Let's take a look.
No. Baby, what happened? What happened? Are you good? No, you're not good. What happened? Somebody attacked me. Somebody attacked me.
Guys, what the hell happened here? Lyra, what happened? What happened?
Yeah, it's my shoulder.
Is it the back or the front? What's going on? Look, what are you looking at, Doc? Talk to me. It seems like you're shouldering. It doesn't look good. Bailey, who did this?
I don't know. What happened? Are you okay, bro? What did you do? Hey, you better stand back right now.
Hey, go down. Lyra, listen.
Why are we always getting accused?
Ladies, I don't suppose you have any idea who did this.
No, we don't. We literally just walked in. We didn't. We just walked in.
You know what? I almost want to believe you. But I believe you know something about this, so come clean now.
No, we don't. All we know is that it looks like Bailey's not going to be able to compete tomorrow. Pobrecita.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, and it's not funny, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what is funny is that Raquel and I are totally cool with having a forfeit win victory for WrestleMania. That's a great idea.
Are you serious right now?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not going to be that easy. There will be a match tomorrow, so I suggest you get your minds right.
Oh, yeah? What is it going to be? Us versus Lyra 2-on-1? Real smart, Adam. Real smart. Let's go. Let's go. Lyra. Bye, Lyra.
They want 2-on-1. Give it to them. I'll take them both on. You
Listen.
hear me? If they did this, I want both of them.
Look, I know that. I feel that. I understand that. And I want a championship match at WrestleMania, but you're not doing it alone. Look, Lyra, look. Bottom line here. Looks like you got about 24 hours to find a new partner. 24 hours, okay?
What?
24 hours. What are we thinking here, guys?
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
No! Bailey is out. Bailey is out for their match. Lyra Valkyria has 24 hours to find a new partner. And I don't know why this is giving me deja vu a little bit.
Well,
I know
let's
Liv and
say,
Raquel.
Yeah.
What is it with Liv and Raquel that someone's always ending up, and
It's
yet
bad
they never did it?
juju. It's bad aura.
Right. Look, I feel for Bailey, man. She's put on so many classics at WrestleMania, but Lyra has to find someone else.
Any idea who?
I don't know.
Who
There's
she
this
could
there.
go to?
I don't know. There's a fellow countryman.
You know what I would want to see?
think.
You know what I would go find? Chelsea Green's not on the card.
Chelsea,
Go
yeah.
find Chelsea Green. Get the two women's
She would love
Intercontinental
that.
champ, United States champ together. I don't know. She's got 24 hours. For now, it is WrestleMania. We bring out all the big wigs for this event. And with that, let's turn it over to Tom Rinaldi.
Well, guys, as you well know, every one of the stars who comes down this ramp across the next couple of nights of WrestleMania has followed their own path and created their own journey to get here. But the same is true of the more than 120,000 fans that are going to fill the seats in this stadium across these two nights. This is the story of one of those fans who experiences the magic and spectacle of WWE in a way that's different from most of us.
Why do we watch? Who do we cheer? What do we feel and see and hear? Jeffrey Head, a mechanic in Columbus, Ohio, known as Geo, doesn't hear the world, not the way most of us do.
I was born deaf, but my parents didn't find out that I was deaf until maybe 1 or 2 years old. I am the only one in my family that's deaf. Growing up, I learned how to sign. My parents, and that was the only way they communicated with me, was through sign.
As a young boy growing up in Ohio, Geo received a cochlear implant, a surgically implanted device meant to improve his hearing.
I was very excited to think that someday that cochlear implant was going to help him hear all the things that you and I hear on a daily basis.
I really loved the cochlear implant at the beginning, but then as time went on, I ended up hating it. I hated it because it hurt my head. It caused me a lot of headaches, so I decided to just stop using it, and that was around the age of 13. I prefer to stay deaf.
Anyone would ask Geo why.
Because I was born deaf, and that's what I just prefer to stay.
Through sound and silence, one thing that's always reached Geo is professional wrestling.
What are you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you?
Around 7 or 8 is when I first saw Hulk Hogan. I like his acting. You know, he's got the big opening the shirt, doing these movements. I love his act. That's kind of what made me become fascinated with wrestling. And then I ended up watching a lot of it, a lot of WWE, especially at a young age.
I would see him watch it on TV and talk about it a little bit and talk about the Hulk Hogans and the Macho Man Randy Savages and whatnot. You know, when you're deaf and you can't hear, you know, you're probably relying on action.
As a child, those WWE stars and stories were an escape for Geo. But as an adult, life's challenges would reach far beyond the ring or the garage and past his lack of hearing.
I am an alcoholic and an addict. I used to have 4 years of sobriety. My mom passed away 3 years ago. 3 years actually today. The two of us were best friends. After that, everything fell apart. I ended up relapsing after she died, and I really, really struggled with alcohol.
The first, 6 months 12 months were devastating. Devastating for all of us, right? But he's definitely taken it hard. It had his highs and had his lows.
This month, on April 11th, Gio celebrated 1 year of sobriety, one day at a time. And this month, he's returning to one of the passions that's been there for him through every challenge. For the first time, he's going to a WWE event, live, in person.
I've always wanted to go. It'll be exciting, feeling the vibrations of the auditorium, feel the people yelling. I can imagine that. I want to have that experience to see what wrestling is like.
Welcome to Vegas. Fans from all over the world have descended on Sin City, and oh, what a show they are ready for.
As Gio arrived at Friday Night SmackDown, there was already one star sending his greetings.
What's up, Gio Maniac? You know, Hulk Hogan here, brother. I want to thank you, Gio, for being a Hulkamaniac, for sticking with me through thick and thin. I've only got one question for you, Gio. What you gonna do, brother, when Hulk Hogan and Gio tag team and run wild on you?
I wasn't expecting that. I didn't really know what to say. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience to see it live.
When CM Punk came back to the ring, it wasn't a WWE ring.
I can just feel the vibrations. People are screaming and yelling. I can feel that. Everybody can feel the vibrations. But because I'm deaf, I feel it more.
What a privilege and joy it is to be joined right now by Gio Head, his wife Tammy, Gio's interpreter Stephanie Reed. Gio, we saw your reactions last night to your very first event. What do you expect over these next two nights at WrestleMania?
Really, I mean, for the past 2 days, it's been really amazing. Just really great. I mean, it's been a very, very enriching experience because, you know, growing up, I just watched this on TV. I never got to go to a live in-person event, but now I'm here and I'm watching this, truly watching this live. I can feel the vibrations and the sounds. It's been just really great experience. Thank you so much.
Give us a prediction for what everyone's pointing toward. Will we see Rhodes or Cena prevail?
Oh, I think Cena. I think Cena's gonna win.
Why?
I think that he's I think he deserves to win.
We are so grateful to you for sharing your story with us, Gio, and we hope you have an amazing time tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll enjoy myself. Thank you.
We know, guys, all the stars have their stories, but again, what a joy to be able to share the story of this one fan. Gio Head, joined here by Tammy, and again, our special thanks to Stephanie Reed, who was remarkable through this whole process. Guys?
Tom, thank you so much. An incredible story. I'm sure Gio is about to have an absolute blast here at WrestleMania. We are now officially less than 30 minutes away from kicking off night one, and who better to join us to talk all things WWE and WrestleMania than Stephanie McMahon herself. That is right. Fans, very excited to see you up here. You look amazing as always, and you have about I gotta let the champ breathe.
The fans didn't always treat you that way,
No,
Steph.
I very rarely have my name chanted. It's usually very loud boos. It's just I haven't been around in a while.
Well, it's a lot of cheers, nothing but cheers here inside Allegiant
Allegiant Stadium. You have so much going on. I guess I'll start with coming off of the WWE Hall of Fame last night and watching your husband, Paul, get inducted. How was that night for you?
Oh my God, yes. The Triple H chant, very well deserved. You know, it's something that I don't take very lightly. The relationship that he has with all of these people goes way back and way further than it does even with his relationship with me. And to have the opportunity to celebrate 30 years of blood, sweat, and tears, starting as a little kid being a fan in Nashua, New Hampshire, to being the person responsible for all of this. I mean, it's just, what a remarkable journey. What a remarkable human being. Just his huge heart is what I fell in love with first. And then he has, you know, everything else to back it up.
We'll let that one lie right there.
She's been on one the last couple of days. I'll tell you what.
telling you, you know?
So I was just telling you before we talked off screen that it seems like every week there's a new announcement for projects that you have coming out. How's it been transitioning into the space?
It's been amazing. It really has. And, you know, Stephanie's Places, thank you. I love you too. You know, it was funny because I wasn't sure I was ready to really do something. And, you know, it was Nick Khan and Paul who were trying to pressure me into doing it a little bit. And then I was leaning towards it, and all of a sudden I see a text on my phone, and it comes up Peyton Manning. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Peyton Manning's texting me to do this show. I guess I need to do it.
That's actually so cool.
It was so cool.
Oh my
it was so
God.
cool. I called Nick immediately. I'm like, you have Peyton Manning text me? Like, of course. Okay, I'm going to do this. And it's been so rewarding to have the opportunity to be with our talent, you know, and to really just hear their stories and who they are and where they came from and how they overcame different kinds of adversities. And you know, hopefully it's entertaining and there's some type of takeaways for the audience, but it's been a true blessing for me.
No, I think you've been doing a fantastic job. Been watching since the first episode. It's not easy to jump into a new space, but me and my wife have really enjoyed it. Been watching it. It's great bedtime viewing. Sit back, watch.
Viewing.
Okay, not again. Now, real quick.
However you want to say it.
Now, real quick. When you take a look at behind us, like this sort of gives Pontiac Silverdome 1987 a little bit. You've been to so many of these. It's such a part of your life. When you think WrestleMania, what is the first memory Stephanie McMahon has?
Oh, well, my very first memory is WrestleMania 1, you know, and sitting in the crowd. And gosh, I mean, I remember all of the matches sitting there. And I remember watching my dad and Hulk Hogan before the show started, you know, talking about what was going to be happening and just walking around backstage and the energy. I didn't understand at the time everything that was riding on WrestleMania 1. My parents mortgaged everything that they owned to make it happen. I didn't realize if it wasn't successful, my life would change dramatically, but luckily it was. And that connection to our fans is something that has only grown with every WrestleMania. And here we are again today, and it's just amazing.
It's such an incredible collection of people all in one place,
It
right?
is.
And it really it feels so interconnected, like we're all just kind of one big family,
But it's
sort of
true.
taking this in. I have to ask you what match you're looking forward to tonight.
Oh,
Or maybe on the weekend?
I never get into the matches because I'm not going to pick anybody.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
over
okay,
anybody
that's fair,
else.
that's
Although
fair.
Jey Uso, maybe I do have to yeet.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. All right, all right.
She's one with the people when it comes to the yeets. I love that.
But I had the opportunity this morning because you had asked about multiple projects, and I did a live podcast because now I'm also doing a podcast. The video is on YouTube, and then you can listen to the audio on Spotify and Apple and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. But I talked about our fans and how our fans, especially now with all of the programming that we have available, they can be with our talent from their journey from the very, very beginning, you know, all the way through to the main event at WrestleMania, and how connected you are, you know, to someone who's been with you that far along the way and someone who's helped you get here. It's just really remarkable, and I think it's such a special relationship, and I'm so grateful to all of our fans. It's just amazing.
I think one thing that is never stated enough, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I go to a lot of events, I work in sports, I work in music, I work here. these are the best crowds in anything I do.
100%.
There is less drama, there is less problems, it is positive energy.
That's right.
I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. We have the best fans and you feel it all.
Yes, we do.
Diverse.
The best fans in
best.
the world.
Absolute best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I have this quick story time. I have this vivid memory. I don't know if you remember about 12 years ago when Caitlyn was doing the Secret Admirer storyline, and I remember I was supposed to go out there and seduce her. I remember you walking me through, you seducing Caitlyn and just giving me the directions. You are so instrumental, I think, in so many people's careers and in helping them, giving them tidbits. Is that an element of your career that you miss, being more involved, hands-on backstage?
You know, I love the opportunity to work with our talent in any capacity. And if I can be helpful, if I can give tips, you know, whatever that is, I'm happy to do it. I'm here for everybody's success.
I love that.
And how did I do, by the way?
You did an amazing job.
Yeah,
a stellar job. In fact, I think you should have a tutorial of how to seduce.
On seduction.
Yes,
Another
on
podcast.
Yes, that's another,
tutorial.
yeah, another project
There we
for
go.
you.
Seduction.
Here we
That's
go
the new
again.
one. You heard it here.
We're just more full of ideas on the countdown to WrestleMania. How much we are 21 minutes away from WrestleMania. We're here with Stephanie McMahon. We've talked about the podcast. We've talked about Stephanie's places. I mean, at this point, sort of, what is your hope with the podcast? You know, I know you have
I have
Dana
no
White
idea.
on. What is your,
Honestly,
like,
yes, we kicked off with Dana White. And then this morning we did live Michael Rubin, who's the CEO of Fanatics and responsible for the world and all of the incredible partnerships that we have, you know, primarily in licensing and memorabilia and now podcasting and who knows what's to come next. But the podcast was really based on the show, on Stephanie's Places. So I had such an amazing time. I think every person, you know, struggles along the way, right? Because life's not easy for anybody. Everyone has it different. But, you know, what are the lessons that you can learn? What is your story? I mean, that's exactly how the name came about. And, you know, and what tidbits do you have for other people that can help get them through? You know, that's the goal. And whether it's musicians or it's, you know, WWE superstars or it's athletes or entertainers or business people, you name it, you know, we're going to try to hear their story.
and that is how people connect, right? Like when you can get someone to open up and be vulnerable and sort of share the harder things, I think that's where the connection comes, right, with the people
That's
that are
right.
listening.
And the thing is, we all have more in common than we realize, you know. And at the end of the day, it's all about family and love and the people that get you there.
Does any part of you miss being in the ring? Physical, it's not that long. We're not that far removed from you being in there in a mixed tag match.
I used to love to take bumps. It was my favorite thing in the world to take bumps until I wrestled Ronda Rousey. And I think I took enough bumps, you know, in the whole preparation for that match. And I've been a little,
they say,
hesitant maybe since.
Don't they say wrestlers have a certain amount of bumps on their body?
Yeah, your bump card,
run
once
out.
it's filled up, that's it. It's a wrap.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for chatting with us. We
thank you.
appreciate the time. She is truly, you guys don't understand, she is the absolute best human.
Yeah.
Always so warm, always so gracious with your time. Thank you so much. Enjoy WrestleMania, and congrats on all of the things. We have time, but not enough time to list them all. But congratulations.
Thank you, Steph.
Thanks,
Stephanie McMahon, give it up for her one more time. All right, the countdown to WrestleMania is brought to you in part by Papa John's. Order pizza and more for delivery tonight.
I've been flying out of town for some peace of mind. It's like always, they just want a piece of mind. I've been focused on the future, never on right now. What I'm sipping.
Nobody defined best for business more than John Cena. John, I know you're watching. I know that you think that your successor had to look like you, had to talk like you, had to be like you, had to live like you. Well, the next one doesn't look like the last one, John, and you are convinced that you are the last of your kind. You are not.
I ain't many that are built like me. I'm the last of my kind. Grew up on the back road, baby. I know how
to survive. Being out with the young guns blazing, so you better not try. You'll never find another like me. I'm the last of my kind. I'm the last of my kind. I'm the last of my
John, I'm the captain now.
Got folks that carry some shit, can't cross state lines. If you're coming to the sticks, still maybe bring a four-wheel drive. You'll never find another like me. I'm the last of my kind. I'm the last of my kind. Try to find another just like me. You'll be looking for a real long time. 'Cause I'm the last of my kind.
Let's welcome be a son of a. Or look through my eyes. Can't always climb to safety. Sometimes you gotta fight. Go get it if you want it. Keep the fire burning inside. You'll never find another like me. 'Cause I'm the last of my kind.
I'm the last of my kind. Try to find another just like me. You'll be looking for a real long time. 'Cause I'm the last of my kind. I'm the last of my kind. I'm the last of my kind.
Maybe I was chosen. But you know who chose me? They chose me.
Can't wait much longer, baby. Yeah, it's my time. You won't ever find another like me. I'm the last of my kind.
The countdown to WrestleMania continues. We are officially less than 15 minutes away from night one of WrestleMania 41, headlined by a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, with Paul Heyman in his corner, Jackie Redmond, Big E, and Peter Rosenberg with you as we get set for a huge night here at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And we got to talk about these Tops patches because WWE and Tops have joined forces. Superstars are going to wear these patches tonight, and then when the match is over, these are going to be made into like one-of-one trading cards.
Imagine
really cool.
pulling that in a pack.
I can't.
Incredible. Look, I've done a lot of stuff with Tops the last few months. They've been an incredible partner. And look, our collectors, their rabid fandom is truly incredible. So a chance to own a piece of something that our superstars wear here tonight, truly incredible. And I want to shout out to the lovely people at Tops, Andrew Goodman, Brian Terwilliger, great people.
Well, can I shout out to them and say,
yeah.
When can I get my 24/7 championship card made? You know what I mean?
Do you think you deserve a card?
Well, announcers get cards. I just want
that's
one
fair.
card, one
I do.
day.
Do you have a Tops card in general?
Yeah, I'd just be happy with any Tops.
But do you have one?
Of myself?
Yeah.
No, do you?
I do actually.
I
just
knew
got
you
it.
did.
Coming soon. Just got
That's
them
amazing.
actually.
Talk to
Just
Tops.
got
I'll
them.
talk to Tops on your behalf. I got you.
And you have
Yep.
multiple, I assume.
Yeah, you know.
By the way, how about this?
Yeah,
How about this?
He's done a thing or two.
I went so crazy during the pandemic with my collecting that I went out and bought a 1985 Tops, the original WWF cards that there were.
Wow.
I bought the box, completely wrapped, perfect condition. Spent a little too much on it. It was COVID. It was
pricey.
It was a weird time.
I'm sure.
But I'm honored I have it now. No, it's such a cool thing for the fans, man.
Absolutely.
To pull that from a pack. would
It's
be
very
epic.
cool, and it's not just a patch either. Like the superstars are gonna sign it after the match.
Incredible.
So it's very cool, kind of like a game-worn jersey signed. Very, very cool. All right, let's get back to the card because the countdown really is on now because we're 12 minutes away from this thing kicking off. I want to talk to you guys about Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton because we haven't talked about this match, the three of us, just yet. Tiffany is defending against an already active legend in WWE, right? What have you made, E, of how personal this has got and sort of the guts that Tiffany has shown in the presence of honest, like, greatness?
No, there's been a lot of talk about the dissension, about the promos, but I think, honestly, we have kind of lost what's going to happen in the squared circle. You know, and I think this is could be potentially a passing of the torch moment. Charlotte Flair has done it all here in WWE, main event after main event. You know, but I sat with her at Fanatics Live, and she talked about being nervous for this. As much time as she spent here in WWE at the very top of the card, she still has nerves. And look, I have torn ACLs before in college, and oftentimes the physical hurdle is not the biggest hurdle, it's the mental hurdle. Can I trust my body to do the things that it has in the past? And I want to see if Charlotte Flair is the same Charlotte we've seen before. I know physically she's ready, but mentally, is she going to trust that her knee is good, that her body is fine, and she can win a 15th World Championship?
That's the thing with these really personal matches, is being able to sort of delineate the two different things. You number one, have the fact that you absolutely hate this person, who on international television on SmackDown got very, very personal. And you also have the fact that you're trying to win gold. You know what I mean? And those things, you don't want the personal part to get in the way of the business that you're trying to handle.
But you know what? I think the personal side of this has turned into a bit of a power for Tiffany, because, you know, she sat down with Wade Barrett, she's done a lot of interviews. I talked to her a couple of weeks ago, and she told me that she really, for the first time in her career, feels like she is at war, like she is going to war with somebody. She feels like Charlotte has taken advantage of her. She feels like Charlotte has bullied her. And she said she had to look herself in the mirror, take that, and say, how can I use this to my advantage? And I think we've seen it become a bit of a strength for her. And, you know, she's kind of talked about, even last night on the red carpet, how this is still a dream match for her. Charlotte is someone that she looked up to. So to be able to deal with all of that and then still call it a dream match, I think shows the mindset that Tiffany has right now.
She said one other thing, E, I'm curious to your thoughts on this. She also acknowledged in that conversation, I'm nervous. And I wonder, is it bad to admit any sort of weakness like that the night before a title defense at WrestleMania?
I think this version of Charlotte is very open. She's very transparent. She's had a lot of things go on in her personal life, things that probably shouldn't have been said on screen, but these things have been mentioned, and I think she's at a point in her life where she's really reflecting, and I don't think that's a weakness.
No, apologies. Tiffy admitted that she was nervous.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. Charlotte seemed very cool.
Okay.
Tiffy said, I'm nervous.
That's my bad. Yeah, look, I don't blame her for being nervous at this stage.
WrestleMania.
This is WrestleMania against Charlotte Flair.
Your WrestleMania debut, title defense.
Right, and Charlotte is not the type to hold your hand and bring you along. It is sink or swim with Charlotte Flair, and you better be ready.
But in a lot of ways, Tiffany has everything to gain in this situation, right? If she can come out victorious.
She has something to lose. She has a lot to lose.
She has a title to lose.
Right.
She has a title to lose.
And look, we've seen Bianca, we've seen Rhea, we've seen Charlotte, we've seen Becky and Bayley at WrestleMania. The bar for women's wrestling is so high, and Tiffany has to meet that bar. So I think there really is a lot on the line for Tiffany here today, not just the title.
I think it's a lot of upside for Tiffany.
No, I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Because
she's
on a great fight
up against the iconic Charlotte Flair, someone that has done this time after time after time after time. If Tiffany comes up short, yeah, it's not an ideal situation, but it's okay. It's your WrestleMania debut. You've been on the main roster for 1 year, and you lost to one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time. You're going to get some grace for that. But if you come out on top,
No, it's a great
oh my
it's a great
God,
point.
you're walking with your chest out.
It's a great point. The time from debut on the main roster to WrestleMania, like, I don't think if we were to look back, this is faster than Becky or Sasha or any of the other people who came before. Like, this is really quick. So that is a good point. But at the same time, you know she is desperate to hold on to that gold. And she has said things you cannot take back. She needs to prove herself tonight. And I'll tell you, Charlotte pulled me aside after our conversation.
What'd she say?
She's ready to put them beats on that girl tonight.
Ready to put them beats. I think they both are. This is going to be, I think, a very physical match between those two. All right, elsewhere, let's get to the breaking news that we heard just about an hour ago here on the Countdown to WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio is unable to compete in his match, so Rey Fenix will take, it's Rey for Rey. Ray subbing in for Ray.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio is truly one of the best people you'll ever meet in this business. I am gutted for him, but I'm really excited for Rey Fenix, man. See, I got a chance to talk to his brother, Penta, at Fanatics Live, and he has talked about how much being at this point, at this stage, means so much to him. I can imagine it's the very same thing for Rey Fenix to get to WWE, to be presented in the way he has, but it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania, man, and he has an opportunity to change, you know, to really show something to the world tonight.
Craziest thing I heard today, I saw Ray in the locker room, and he is gutted. And he said he saw Dominic and said, Dominic, I guess you will be the only Mysterio to shine on WrestleMania this year. You know what Dominic's response was? That was already going to be the case.
That was already going to be the case. Listen, a lot of WrestleMania debuts happening here this weekend in Las Vegas, and a heck of a card to kick things off here tonight in just over 6 minutes. My goodness, we are getting closer and closer to night one of WrestleMania 41, officially kicking off. With that, we are in Sin City, we are in Las Vegas, and with that, let's throw it over to Dana White with City of Dreamers.
Ever since I was a G, I be legit. You should let
Look
it
at his
go.
dance
She
beat.
wanna be double O tatted on her body. Oh. It don't matter what they say. I'm timeless, 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 timeless. We timeless.
The Neon Pulse. The dazzling avenue, the glittering hub and heart of a city. But the Las Vegas Strip is not in Las Vegas, technically. It actually lies in an unincorporated Nevada town called Paradise. It's the place that drew me and so many more like me to the middle of the Mojave Desert. Surrounded by that darkness, the brilliant lights of the Strip are visible all the way into outer space, lighting the way for more than 40 million people that come here each year, each carrying their own dream.
Oh my God, it's Wayne Newton.
Because Vegas is always called out to the dreamers.
Hey, there you are. We're going to Vegas, Mike. Vegas! You think we get there by midnight? Money, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight.
It's a city that beckons to the bold.
All right, we'll get one more.
And that calls out to believers of what's possible.
We gotta run this town.
That's what Vegas does and what it's always done. It requires you to have more nerve than the next guy. To accept that risk is part of living. It's why Vegas is the city of Sinatra, Elvis, and Tyson, of one-hour engagements and all-night runs.
Down Portis Johnson. Showtime.
It's where the Runnin' Rebels and the Raiders are.
Taking away his energy and everybody.
It's home to my UFC, to the biggest fights, the largest names, and the greatest stories.
I've been dying my whole life now. Look at me now. Look at me now.
And it's why it feels so right as a setting for this. For the greatest spectacle in sports entertainment to return to the grandest stage on the globe. Because this cultural phenomenon, this annual wonder, is also a vision made real. How it's evolved over time from a 2-hour program to a 2-night experience. How it's grown from an arena show to a stadium marvel.
Welcome to WrestleMania 9!
And for the first time in more than 3 decades, it all comes back here. An event where all who come down that ramp and who enter that ring carry their own dreams to make their vision real and their hope true. Where else but Las Vegas? Where else but a place called Paradise? Where else but f***ing WrestleMania?
Ladies and gentlemen, here to sing God Bless America, please welcome Jelly Roll!
the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Hell yeah, Jelly Roll.
This is wonderful.
At WrestleMania, from the entertainment capital of the world, Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm going into WrestleMania for the main event, and it's just me.
WrestleMania from Las Vegas. At WrestleMania, from the entertainment capital of the world,